I just, okay, good. All the girls want to see your face, you know. I said all the girls want to see your face. You know? What's up, Chuck? Oh, thank you. Yes, yes, you may be seated. This is the Rhett Palmer Show. The mayor of the airways. Good morning. Chuck Cannon is in here.
Good morning.
Always
Glad to be here.
comes over to bother me and harass me on Monday morning. It's good to see you, Chuck.
You too.
We also have Beverly Osler in the studio. Good morning, Beverly Osler. How are
Good
you?
morning. Here I am seated between two wonderful guys.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
Nice
what
way to
about
start
me?
Today.
Oh, great.
Two
Seated
out of
between
three.
two wonderful guys.
Two
I'm
out
on
of
the
three
other
ain't
side.
bad.
Two out of three, man.
She didn't specify which two.
Right.
You could have been one of the two.
We know which two. It's
Why?
you two. I'm always ostracized, rejected. What's the word when somebody feels rejected in their youth? They have problems with that.
Abandonment?
Yeah, abandonment. I have abandonment issues. How you doing? That's Pastor Richard Dempsey.
We can talk
How you
about
doing? Hey, so what's going on? Okay, last night, did anybody watch?
that. The Grammys?
Yeah, did you watch it?
I didn't.
Oh, did you watch
I
it?
did not.
Oh, come
The
on.
only thing that I saw was the Facebook feed with people updating things about
Yeah, I
the
saw a few of
Grammys
those,
and
yeah.
reactions.
Adele started a
I don't usually watch them anyway. I mean,
I gotta be honest with you. I haven't watched it for years and years. I remember turning it on a few years back going, what is this crap?
Mhm.
It is coming back though. There actually were songs that had melodic content and words that made sense in some instances.
They had a melody and words, which was
Yes.
an upgrade from the year before.
It's amazing. They're-
The Grammys?
yeah, melody and music. I mean, I just hope that we don't have hip hop in heaven. Oh Lord, I hope there's not hip hop in heaven. But some people would feel that way about country music.
Yeah.
You know? Lord, I hope there's not country music in heaven.
Those are the two genres I find.
Well, when you get to heaven, you know what you do with a country song? You get back your wife, you get back your dog, you get back.
Your truck, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So is there any hip hop artist that you've ever liked?
Well, I don't know. But if I did, it was inadvertent because I don't even know what hip hop is.
When
What
we're
is hip hop?
talking? No, well, I mean, I guess that's a good question. Hip hop is a culture, urban culture, with graffiti, breakdance, and freestyle rapping.
You're not on the painkillers anymore, are you?
No, why?
Big difference.
Yeah.
You have your laugh is back.
Oh,
You're
wow.
not like.
I hate those painkillers.
It's not. Was that OxyContin or what? What were you on?
Oxycodone.
You were on OxyContin?
Yeah, it's not as strong as Oxycontin, but
Oh, really? I
No.
can't stand that
no,
stuff.
I can't either.
I just noticed Mr. B. He's happy. He just held up a big plate of SOS through the window.
Yeah.
So apparently, you actually remembered to bring
I
him
remembered it right at the last minute. Yeah.
from C.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Keep it away from me because it's dangerously addictive. What is it? What is the official name of that stuff?
Chip beef.
Oh, chip beef. Yeah.
Chip beef, yeah.
That's my
Have you been in the
favorite.
military? Of course, you call it SOS.
Yeah.
In
Which
fact, I've had it at your restaurant.
Yeah.
It's
I
wonderful.
grew up, we had it at least
Yeah.
once a week at our house.
is
Nice.
awesome. I
Mhm.
gotta say, yours is like really
It's
good.
very good. I like
Yeah.
it.
It is. It really is.
Getting back to the Grammys, I watched for a little bit.
Oh,
And
by the way, hold on. By the way, that restaurant is C.J. Cannon's, the restaurant with a beautiful panoramic view of Heroes Municipal Airport Strip. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, C.J. Cannon's, where you can get the best chip beef in town.
Thank you.
Yes, Beverly.
one thing I don't like about today, the lyrics are so sad. They're very negative. It's not like our time, my time, which is much older than all of you. Okay,
I don't know. There's always been sad music.
Yeah.
no,
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Almost shot my head. I was dead. What can I say?
how about all of me?
All of me.
Why
Why not take all?
I mean,
of me?
that's so positive, beautiful.
There's a lot of positive
but
songs out there.
Lonely,
Hmm.
lonely for how does it go? It's something for feeling so lonely. Like that song is super sad. And that was from
Now
like,
the
what?
#1 song was the song "Hello, It's Me."
Yeah.
Oh, I think
Adele.
Right.
for this
You
year.
know what's funny, Richard?
Great
And
song.
I was reading the updates too because I got home and I had my Facebook on, and I can't remember what I even watched last night. We did go to the movies, and then we got home and I watched something. But I read what's her name, Beyonce,
Yeah.
and then just a couple of my friends said, "Worst performance ever. This is going to ruin the Grammys. What was the matter with her?" And then a couple of lines down, people were going, "Beyonce, best performance I've ever seen."
Yeah.
It
I was
was
thinking, wow, I wonder what was going
It
on.
was horrible.
Was
Oh,
it?
see, that's
It
what I
was
got.
like, it was totally bizarre. It was like, first of all, she came out, she's very pregnant. And I
Okay.
understand what she's trying to. She had her mother introduce her, and then she did this wild thing where this big yellow scarf's above her head, and you can see this huge belly. She's got a huge butt and thighs because she's pregnant, very pregnant.
Sure.
Which women
With twins,
can,
I think. Isn't
huh?
it? I think it's with twins.
Sh-
if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
twins. That's right. And trying to show the beauty of motherhood, which
Pregnancy,
it
yeah.
is. But the meaning of the whole thing just kind of got yucked up and like, what is
Yeah, I
the
didn't see
world
it.
is this? You know, somebody trying to make a name for themselves.
It just
So,
went to show me how people interpret things so differently. You
yeah.
know, some
Mhm.
people
But
loved it,
that's
some
art,
people
you know.
hated it. Yeah,
That's art.
exactly
Some
right.
people just this
Exactly right.
morning, you know. I mean, just this morning, I had some nasty guy on the beach say something nasty about my song about 911 and the fact that I brought up my brother's death. Oh, well, you know, I don't want to diminish your brother, but he wasn't in 911 and it really doesn't have. Who are you to judge what?
911
Get
is
out of
the
my
face.
face. My brother drowned on 911, and that's called, what do you call that damage? Collateral damage?
Mhm.
I mean, that's not his damn business. But anyway, and ironically, I got an email this morning, an instant message on Facebook, and she's a big time producer and talent scout. Hollywood happens to live here now and is bringing up her children. She's all upset about the superintendent. I don't know what's going on there. But she said how she loved my 911 song and loves my show and thinks I'm awesome. I'm going, are you sure you got the right guy? This is Rhett. I said, this is Rhett Palmer. They said, yeah, the mayor of the old was you are awesome. So it's good. Well, there are a lot of moms that do listen,
Yeah,
taking their
sure.
children, and we've known that for years. A lot of moms listen going to and from school. Just shows you the bright ladies that we have living in this community because dumb people don't listen to talk radio, only smart people. So if you're listening, good morning, Vietnam!
Yeah, and don't let one negative comment throw you.
No, but this nasty, but you know, this
It does
really
that.
nasty vitriol guy. And then there was something else last week. He tried to use his wife's posting on Facebook and said something vitriolic. I mean, obviously the guy must be absurdly jealous of me to say such. It means over the edge. It's really. And then of course, I heard from somebody that his wife got really ticked at him that he did that. And next thing I know is I went back to see about her, and I was blocked. So he scampered and put his tail between his legs
That's
and
funny.
took her off. And you know, I blocked him a long time ago. So.
My brother used to say, if you want to do something good, everyone will like it. If you want to do something great, half the people will hate it and half the people will love it.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's so funny what comes over people. It's
mhm.
like this guy has uncontrollable jealousy and animosity. It's like really
Oh, and
vitriolic.
it's funny what nerves you hit with things that you don't think are that controversial. I posted in Facebook one time, and it does. I still think about how it does kind of crack me up a little bit. There was a cigarette commercial from the 50s,
Yeah.
black and white, and it had a doctor going on house calls. And when he would leave the house, he went out on the front porch and
Had
he
a
would
camel.
smoke a camel.
Yep.
And at the end of it, I posted the commercial because I thought it was odd that how times have changed so
Yeah.
much. And then I said, "Can you imagine this? This really cracked me up. A doctor making house calls." And that's what I thought was funny.
And some doctor's wife in town
Well,
got
I've
mad
had
at
a
you.
couple people that work for doctors said that were not even just commenting; they were angry. You know that we shouldn't make fun of doctors. A lot of them still make house calls. I said, "Look, it was a joke. It was the ironic part was that he smoked."
Yeah, lighten
Yeah.
up.
But it was funny how many
Well, you
people
know,
that hit the
This
wrong
society
way.
is going to go down the tubes if we keep squelching humor. It's
Yeah.
just like, you know, political correctness. Bull crap. Hey, black folks like watermelon and fried chicken, and Polacks have a hard time knowing how to put a bulb into the ceiling. And
Wow.
No, they don't. No, they don't. But anyway, but
No,
that's
that's why Rhett won.
You know, and the
Not
Irish.
Rhett won. That's why Trump won.
Why?
Rhett won too, I guess. But no, that's why Trump won the
Why?
election. It's because of political correctness. It was a rebellion from that. It's a reaction from that.
There was a guy that's running for the head of the DNC, and I can't remember his name. I could probably look it up. He gave a speech because he's Ray Buckley is his name, and he gave a
It's a quick
speech.
lookup.
I had it because I looked him up
Okay.
this morning. He was that's a quick look. I
Yeah.
instantly had that.
Wow.
His speech was, we need to, we being the Democratic Party, we need to stop worrying about what offended us so much and start worrying about what the American people need in their lives. In other words, all of our speeches are, we hate Trump, we hate what he's doing, and we're so offended at this. That doesn't tell you
my
anything when
word.
you're trying to wake up and go to work.
And you
in the
want to
morning.
know? I don't know the depth of it, but you've heard of Judas. That's the guy who kissed Jesus on the cheek and betrayed him. Well, I don't know. I remember I was going through a tough time in my life, and I happened to be driving through Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. I stopped into a church just along the way. Got down on my knees. No, seriously, I did. I began to pray.
I began to pray.
California dreaming.
California dreaming
on such a winter's day. Okay, now listen. So I'm driving through Bethlehem, Pennsylvania with my little broken heart. And I stop into this church I don't know anything about, and the guy is preaching. I don't know, Baptist, whatever, what kind of church it was. I just stopped in the churches, I check them all out. And preaching about how, what was he preaching about? I was just going to say
Jesus.
something. And
Judas?
Judas. And how Judas was offended.
Yeah.
Judas was offended, and his offense caused that whole thing. Now, I don't know. Maybe you could look into that. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
How was he offended?
So there was this woman who came in and she poured out perfume onto Jesus' feet. And Judas was the keeper of the money, so he was offended both on the fact that he let this woman, which if you think about Middle Eastern culture, a woman taking her hair
and purportedly maybe a whore,
and then maybe a whore, and putting it on Jesus' feet with this perfume.
Yeah.
His main offense, though, was the fact the money waste of the perfume.
Yeah.
And of course,
would be about $20,000 in today's market. It was a year's salary.
Yeah. So one of the things that I say about this is that Judas' main mistake was that he didn't understand how expensive Jesus' feet were.
Well, maybe he didn't understand. Yeah, because you have had an experience with Jesus. I have. I can tell you what, if Jesus came here right now and I could take every belonging I possibly have and lay it at his feet, oh my word, yes, 1,000 times,
right.
Yes, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So you can imagine she has this vial. So anyway, so he gets jealous.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what we were just talking about. He was offended. Judas was offended. What did it cause him? I mean, it says in the Bible, better for that guy to have never been born.
Yeah.
And can you imagine that he went into he regretted what he did for the 30 things of silver or whatever, and then he threw them back at the Sadducees, the Pharisees who had given it to him, and then he went and hung himself in a field, and his spoils inside, what are they called? Something, whatever, it was all over the place or something.
Yeah. Kind of gross.
I don't know. But anyway, the point is that people are offended, and what Chuck was saying is,
that's what happens.
Well,
if you get offended, you eventually betray Jesus. Then you feel really bad about it. Then you hang yourself. That's what happens every time you're offended.
And somebody's listening right now. Some liberal going, "Are you telling us that Trump is Jesus?"
That's a parallel. And the Democrats are Judas.
I believe there was. I believe there were 10 people at this event that were running for the head of the DNC. He was the only one that took that stand. The rest of them were all offended.
All offended.
Yeah, and it was amazing when they put it in a synopsis like that. When they gave you little tidbit of the speeches.
Yeah.
The speeches were about how basically they were upset at certain things. It wasn't about what we're going to do for you. They're politicians.
Yeah.
Regardless of what party you are, you work for us. You do stuff for us.
Mm-hmm.
We elect you to make our lives protected and better, and the country and serve the country.
Yeah.
To stand up there and talk about how you're upset about something doesn't tell me anything. And they were talking about people getting up in the Midwest, which won the election for Trump, get up and want to know about going to work, paying their bills, paying their taxes, and that's where Trump hit the nerve. He said, we're going to get people working and we're going to get the coal mines going again. Whether you agree with that policy or not is one thing.
And
but there
if
are people that
that's
couldn't
right.
go to work.
And if you just look at one situation, if you look at the videotape of Mr. Obama, President Obama, who I have in many areas a lot of respect for, but you look at him, and he was with Hillary Clinton, and they were in an auditorium, and he said, what is Trump going to do if he's elected? This is pre the election. What is he going to do with Carrier? The jobs at Carrier are gone. What's Trump going to do? Wave his magic wand? Which shows you his ineptitude, because ineptitude in business. He's great with art.
Sure.
He's great with it. As Bob
motivating.
Woodward came to town last week at Riverside and said, Obama thought you could run a country on humility and gentleness. And he said he froze. And here he is. This is like the leader, one of the leaders of the Democrats.
Yeah.
Bob Woodward, all the president's men, you know. And he said, Obama, I'm sorry to say it, but Obama froze, and he can't freeze up, and he froze up.
Yeah.
And
well, if you remember the 60 Minutes interview that he did prior to leaving office, Barack Obama. One of the things he said, well, what are you most proud of in your 8 years of office? And he said, the contributions to climate change. And I thought about that, and I'm thinking, well, that could be one of the things you're proud about. That's the thing that you're most proud of. There are people that are getting up in the morning that want to go to work, that want to do certain things that you're addressing as climate change being the most important thing. People don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
People may want to put that on their agenda, that we need to address it. We need to clean ourselves up. But that's not the most important thing in most people's lives. Most people have to feed themselves.
Well, he did say this, though. I saw him on Jerry Seinfeld's show, Coffee with Comedians and stuff. And he said, there's no doubt. I mean, he expressed it. And this moment of honesty from Obama was just beautiful. And I still believe he's a good man underneath. A lot of people, Barbara, think he's evil. I don't think he's evil. But anyway, he said, I am insulated. I'm 8 years into this. He said, I'm insulated from the street.
He
didn't say those exact words. No, you don't. Come on.
He did.
I mean, you're every beck and
Is
call.
Trump insulated?
You think I got it made with Beverly here, getting me coffee in the morning and having water out for all of us?
I brought this up before talking about insulated, but I remember after Trump won, one of the many celebrities that had to assume that we cared about what they thought more than what we thought was Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
And she got on there crying for 10 minutes about the election, crying. She was physically and mentally upset, distressed. But one of the things she said during this, and it was, it was almost comical. And it wasn't comical that she felt that way, because she's passionate about it.
Sure.
And that's fine. But the fact that when they say things, and this does really irritate me, when they say things like, we've all made a mistake and we have to figure out what to do. No, we all didn't make a mistake. Don't speak for me. You may have made the mistake, but we all didn't make the mistake. But her comment at the end did at least make me have a little more respect for her. Well, she said, am I so insulated in my whole little world out here in LA that I don't know what the Midwest farmer feels or the guy going to work in Manhattan?
Yeah.
Do I not know that? Am I that well kept within my circle? And I thought,
did she say that?
She did say that, and I
that's
thought,
very insightful.
and she's one of the youngest ones out there that have been outspoken about it. And I thought, she's the one who kind of
very lower class Kentucky family.
Yes.
Yeah.
And within her circle of family, I think that she did hear the other side a little bit.
All right, the man through the window is telling me we have to take a break. This is the mayor of the airwaves, and got a lot to talk about today. We have Pastor Richard Demsick in here. We have Beverly Osler in here. Good morning, Beverly.
Good morning.
We also have, of course, Chuck Cannon from CJ Cannon's. Today's broadcast brought to you by Dr. Tim Ioannidis, Treasure Coast Dermatology. Get a full body scan every year. It could save your life.
I just missed your call. This is Chuck Cannon. Good, thanks.
Mr. B.
That's what I thought, right? Yep. Okay, I thought that's what it was. But okay, we'll see. It's not like this. I can't remember what they're going to do, but I hate, even if it's just a cleaning, I hate going to the dentist.
I can't remember what.
I said I go to the dentist just to get like your teeth cleaned and x-ray, but I hate, even though I know I'm not having anything done.
I don't like the hopelessness of having your mouth wide open.
And when they hurt you, it's a really bad hurt. You know, it's if they jab your.
Mhm.
Good morning, Reverend. I didn't get a chance to say hello.
How you doing, Mr. B?
Good.
So did you have a good weekend?
Yes, ma'am.
It was
Yep.
very successful.
Spent lots of money.
Hey, how you doing?
Went to the
Good.
Orlando
What's your
Ham
first
Fest.
name?
Richard.
Oh, did you?
Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the drive.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi.
Actually, I
Hey,
put $300
hey guys, I
with
don't
me.
want to ignore y'all.
Bring them back to 100. Or bring them back 100.
That's all right. Yeah.
But it was my hotel, dinner,
Yes and no.
lunches,
Okay.
and then stuff.
I hear ya.
I think
It was
it's pretty
fun.
much
But it was
saved on
fun.
that
Yeah.
back in
That's
there.
important.
Okay.
I'll write on a sticky and I'll give it
We
to
went Friday
you.
morning,
Uh,
walked all day.
yeah.
And Saturday, I said, oh, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I could hardly walk now.
I
I've
hear ya.
I just put it all back
What
together.
movie did you see
I went
yesterday?
to see A Dog's Purpose,
Oh, yeah.
And
which we were supposed to
That's
boycott
everything,
because one of the
and I
dogs in the
there's
movie
some
was.
stuff already on there.
Film.
Oh,
What I
they felt
did,
he would put
when
him
I
in
was
the
working with
water.
the
He didn't
PC.
want to go.
But
it's that
other
when I
people had
brought it
gone to the movie
down,
and said, you know, it
instead
wasn't
of having it save on the hard drive of
I
the computer, I
justified
changed
going.
the direction where
He was
the
a
iCloud can bring it
member of
down
the,
to.
the
and I
crew that got
pointed
paid
it
and
to
moved
here.
on. It really wasn't
Okay, so
hurting the
you
movie. Didn't
can
really
do
make
the
him
same
better or
thing,
worse.
but you'll have
So
Was
to
the
throw
movie
it in the
good?
folder because that's a PC
I'm a dog lover,
folder.
so I
you
really
know
wanted
what
to
I
see
mean.
it bad, and it was
And
good.
Well,
It wasn't
depends
great,
on, yeah,
but
it
it was
depends
good.
on what
But it was about
file format
dog
you made
that
the hard
had
drive in.
I didn't format it.
It would
died
automatically
with
Yeah, it would
four
always,
different
so
owners,
if
four
you
different
want to
times, and
erase
came back
everything that's on
as
there
another
and start
puppy
from
and
scratch,
grew
Yeah,
up
it's
with
just
this new
files,
owner and then
so I
would
can do that.
get
yeah,
killed or
because I
something.
didn't
And then
delete anything.
but he
Okay.
always had his own
Sure.
memory. The dog did, and
His
his smells
email,
and everything. So he could,
Radio Rhett
so
at
he went from the one owner who
AOL.com.
was a kid
That's his
Mhm.
Apple
through
sign
several
in
different owners and
ID.
several
It's
different
crazy that,
dogs.
you know, 2
And then at the end,
terabytes is
Mhm.
this.
he
I
found
know,
himself
isn't
back
that
in
my
the town
computer
where
at
his
home
kid, the
is
original
so
owner,
many
when he
lines.
started the movie,
Yeah.
was living
You
as,
know,
as an older adult now.
anyway.
And they
And the
reconnected, and he smelled
password
him, and he remembered everything about his
is
old owner, and
either
tried to make his
Talker
old
with
owner
capital T
recognize him as a different dog. He was a different
3377.
breed, not in a corny way. It was just
An
just
interesting
in,
Oh, is it
concept.
on?
his
on Facebook and
actions and
YouTube,
stuff.
yeah.
But it was all through basically the dog's perspective.
It,
So
or
it
it
was kind
could be
of weird in a
John
way, because you
Jacob
could hear the dog
Jingleheimer
thinking.
Smith.
But,
Ain't that a minute?
Pretty clever.
but
Uh-huh.
Dennis,
That's all I
Randy,
need.
Dennis Quaid played the older adult. And he was
Oh.
good at
Yeah.
it. He
I
had
wasn't
issues,
even
and
thinking
Yeah.
about that.
he was the original kid, and then now he was an older man. And he recognized the dog doing things that his other dog had done.
You're making
And,
teary.
Oh yeah, anything with I don't know why, but I'm really mushy with my dog.
Oh, I don't
and
blame
dogs,
you.
but,
That's like when your child,
I
your
watched. They had to put one of the dogs down, and one of the owners did during the story.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog laying there on the table, just thinking how tired he is, and he would look up and he goes, "I know I'm not going to be there tonight for you," you know, and all that. And I remember we had a little Pekingese, and we had to put him down. And I told my wife, I said, I will never get out of my mind. He was anxious, he was nervous, he was laying on the table, and they gave him the shot, which relaxes him first before they give him the shot to put him out. And I can remember him, his eyes turning to look at me, and all I could think was he was just thinking, I just want to go home. And I said, I told my wife, I will never forget that look on that poor dog's face. And I know, and I was like that. And when they were doing that last night, I was teared up. I said, I just can't stand it, because they can't communicate, and they, you know, it's like a child. They can't defend themselves. They take what you give them. That's why I don't like people abusing. Of course, nobody likes people abusing kids, but kids and adults. I can just remember my daughter being so dependent on us. And I remember telling my wife, I said, it almost makes me sad that her whole life is based on what we decide for her. You know what I mean? And I said, if we decide something and we decide to get her vaccinated, that caused her pain when she, you know what I mean? I said, it just makes me feel guilty that we've made a decision that she's in there crying about, you know, or she has to get a tooth pulled. You know what I mean? All this stuff that you have to decide, all for their betterment.
Sure.
You hope.
Yes.
But you never want to see a child hurt, or my dog more than, I'm more of a dog person than a cat person, but just don't like to see it, and it does choke me up when. So my wife wasn't, there were other movies we wanted to see, and I said, she goes, but You've worked hard. You haven't been able to do anything. You choose where we eat, and you choose where we're going to go see a movie." And I said, "Well, I really want to see A Dog's Purpose." And she goes, "All right, we'll go see that."
Uh-huh.
And so we were able to convince my daughter to go out to eat with us, but she didn't want to go to the movies. And I saw that. So I told my wife on the way home, I said, "I know everything tonight wasn't really like as good as you would want it to have been, but I appreciate you going to see the movie. I enjoyed it." She liked it, but it was,
She made a choice
Yeah.
to please you.
yes, which my wife is
And
like
I
that.
know you, the next time you're going to let her
Yeah, yeah,
decide.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, well, my wife's very accommodating. So,
she seems to be.
but
Yeah.
it was it was a movie that I liked. I
Oh.
don't know that everybody would like it, but I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably cry. Mm-hmm.
Wasn't like a complete downer story, you know. I mean, there were some funny parts, and the dog's
Right.
thinking voice was kind of funny, I
That took
guess.
a lot of work to make it so
To
convincing.
think about that, yeah, it was kind of,
Mm, yeah. Mm-hmm.
and it was just funny because he would think about how his owner thinks this stinks, and then you'd see him rolling in it, but he goes, "I love it,"
You were really into it, weren't
Oh
you?
yeah, I
You
guess
could
so. Probably a little more than I needed to be.
I think I would be that way too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ah,
Yeah. Well, Red, I have information on what we saw.
thanks for coming in, Kathy.
Okay.
You're welcome.
You got the thing from her?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
30 seconds to Rhett Palmer open, then Life of Chuck, no pledge for the bottom of the hour.
I didn't like that.
Good.
Well, that's what you requested, and that's what I'm giving you.
Hey, do me a favor. As soon as my jingle's done, hold on a second. Then I'm going to say, "Ladies and gentlemen, the American Life of Chuck," and then we'll go live with this, unless you have them already set up.
No, it's set up to go right after this.
Oh, all right.
Oh, Chuck.
Check. Louder, 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 please. All right. Yeah, we definitely need my headset up or my mic up, please. Please, my mic up there. That's getting a little bit better.
Good. Mhm.
Okay. How are you?
You know, I want to explain, I'm sitting next to two guys, but you have been wonderful to me, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you believing in me. Thank you.
That's nice.
Where'd that come from? Thank you.
Well, I wanted to know, you know, because I complimented these two guys, I wanted to know how important you are to me.
Oh, I left her with some.
Very nice.
Mhm.
It's nice to be nice to the nice.
I left her with some either Jewish or Catholic guilt, depending on your. So we have. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest today?
Our guest? Yes. First of all, is Chuck Cannon, the owner of a wonderful restaurant.
Oh,
And then next to me is Reverend Dempsey. And I pick him up in the morning. We have the most wonderful conversations.
Where'd you pick him up? Was he on the street selling his body? Or what?
That's right. He picked me up from the street. Son of man has nowhere to lay his head, so neither do I.
She picked him up on the street. He was bleeding from his hands. She picked him up on the street. She didn't know he was the son of man. Well, they say we entertain angel unaware. So when you lend your hand and you show your heart and care, you never know who you're helping along life's way.
Nice.
You have a song for every situation.
Yes.
Yes, What do you think of the Oh, you two didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
A little bit.
What do you think of that comedian? I didn't think the stuff was really funny. He was okay, but it really wasn't
Who
funny.
was it? Do you remember? Do you remember?
Some fat guy with blondish hair from England.
Borden.
He said he has a late night. He said most
Oh,
of
I
the
know
people
who
watching
who
don't
has
know
that
who I
late
am.
night show. He does the carpool karaoke, I think.
Oh, I know that guy.
I can't remember his name.
I just didn't find it that funny.
Yeah.
I think that the one thing sad about a lot of that generation now
Mhm.
is that they actually think that fame is somehow indicative of talent, and
Mhm.
it's not. It's like bouncy. What's her name?
Beyonce.
Beyonce last night.
Bouncy.
I mean, well, what? Yeah.
Was that on purpose?
No,
Did
no,
he
I
call her
don't.
bouncier?
I don't know her name. I don't know who she is. I don't know one song by her.
Really? She's like the
No.
most famous singer right now.
And that's what it disturbed me in the middle
And
of the
her
night. I said,
husband,
"You realize,
Jay's.
huh?"
Yeah.
And her
Jay-Z.
husband, Jay's.
Yeah, Jay's.
No, Jay-Z. I've heard of that.
Oh,
I've heard.
right.
But anyway, I mean, what disturbs me is, we have a lot of famous people.
Yeah.
Like I was over to the Ocean Grill last night, and there was like this rock guitarist there. I mean, there's people that come and go in this town, and we never know about. And it's like Jay-Z, or what's her name there? Beyonce. Beyonce.
Yeah. She was
Um,
part of Destiny's Child back in the day.
Destiny's Child. I mean, like when I was in the '60s.
No, she was in the 90s. She was
Because
part of
wasn't
part
there a
of a
song?
group,
Wasn't there a
a
hit,
women's
song called Destiny's Child?
I believe so.
but there was a band named
Come
Destiny's
back.
Child.
When you grow up, girl, you're still living in the rubber doll world.
I liked her better when she was part of Destiny's Child.
Anyway.
Me too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't even know who she. I've never heard one
That's a
song. Okay,
single artist, I'm not-
name her most
Yeah.
famous song that I would
Ah.
maybe I'd heard.
Single Ladies is pretty famous. Survivor.
No. Is it melodic?
What do you mean? It doesn't have a melody?
Yeah.
I
In
mean,
other words, could you hum it or sing a little bit? Because a lot of this crap today, like
Well,
this
I mean,
endless litany.
That's one of them.
Oh my word.
She was in Austin Powers too, wasn't she?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I ran
That's
into.
right.
Oh, by the way, I was over there to
That's
see
her
the
Oh my
claim to
gosh,
fame
yeah.
the film festival.
I forgot about those
On
movies.
Saturday night. Now, I'm getting a lot of I'm here. It is now. I don't mean to sound fussy, but I'm supposed to be the host, and yet it's me that sounds echoey to it, and everybody else sounds really good. So I don't know what
I think
happened
it's
here.
your voice.
So
You
we
just got an echoey
no,
voice.
we need my mic.
So that chip beef I gave him.
I think that maybe.
Or might sound better.
Would you talk for a second?
No.
Okay, you sound very.
Yeah.
You've got to come in closer.
More defiant today.
You have to come in closer, and her mic has to be down a little, and then mine needs to be up a little because we're getting like this really weird reverb on my thing here.
Sound
All right,
good now.
all right, sounds better.
To me, it is.
Okay, it sounds better. Yeah,
Okay, so you talked about the film festival. Wasn't that interesting?
yeah, it was. Explain to the people where we were Saturday night.
It was at the Museum of Art, and it was all short films, and some of them were really extraordinary, weren't they?
Yeah, but considering that our film critic for Vero's Voice magazine is sitting to your right, and we have this other guy here who uses the analogy of motion pictures every week in his sermons, and neither one of them were there. Consider yourselves castigated, young man.
There was such a variety, and I thought the one while the widow is away. Remember during the day while this woman was away, the handyman was in, and he taught himself to play piano.
On her piano, yeah.
It was really very interesting.
You know what bothers me is that, okay, it's very typical. This guy was a foreigner, came to
Mhm.
New York City. He's living in New York, and what they do, and this is very typical, he got one room with one little single bed.
Mhm.
And I'm talking as little as this room we're in right now. That's it. That's what he had. No bathtub. You had to go down the hall to use the toilet. That's what he gets. Plus he gets, minimum wage to be the maintenance man at an apartment building in New York City. How does anybody ever rise up out of that situation and get ahead? Because you can hardly live in New York City on $100,000 a year, let alone what's $10 an hour get you?
I think the average rent in San Francisco is $3,800 a month. Is that not amazing? The average.
Well,
rent.
you know what happened. That's why I'm be going to Portland soon, I'll be going to Portland soon, but when I go, that's where my niece and nephew live. All the people that can't afford apartments in San Francisco, all the artistic people, the struggling artists, the poets, the painters, and everything, they've all moved to Portland. I was out there last year. It's a wonderful town.
Yeah.
It does tend to be skewed to the left. I don't know why artists tend to skew to the left.
Super to the left. Their motto is "Keep Portland weird or
Oh,
strange." Or one of the two.
It's wonderful. They have a whole city block where I guess they detonated the buildings, and it's all trucks. What do you call them? Food trucks.
Food trucks, yeah.
And it's just wonderful. Then they have the big campus there. I don't know what college it is, and they have this humongous farmers market. I mean, it's just the most wonderful thing I've ever seen. And then they have the biggest. I don't know if you're into books, guys, but they have the.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just drop me off at this bookstore and come back in a week.
Yeah.
That could. Bigger than Princeton, bigger than Harvard, bigger than Rensselaer Polytechnic, all these schools, bigger than Vassar. It is the biggest bookstore.
Wow.
It is wonderful.
I've also heard there's a beautiful rose garden there. That's a very famous rose garden.
I was there.
How are you?
My niece and nephew took me there
Nice.
last year with Elijah and Jonah, my great nephews.
Cool. And there's a Chinatown there too.
That I don't recall.
Yeah. So I've never been. But
Well, that's probably because
why
there's a lot of Jews out there. Wherever you have Jews, you have to have Chinese food. But what everybody wants to know is, what did the Jews eat before the Chinese food came?
it was locusts and wild honey.
Oh, now it's Indian. Do you know Indian food? I was just with somebody
Manna
from.
heaven.
I was just with two. As a matter of fact, in your seats, gentlemen, since you weren't here this past week, I had two very famous race car drivers. Car was in here. They're both from Britain. This is a
English
manager.
Canadian.
This is a manager right here. So anyway, they said that Indian food though is the most popular. Because I said, "How are your?" Oh, I shall have your fish and chips there. You know, trying to be smart with these guys. And I said, "Well, actually, it's Indian food is the most popular food now."
I love Indian food.
You know, I don't know. Have you been to this Kata, whatever it is downtown?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kata. Isn't it Kata?
Kata,
Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I like Kata.
Okay, now I was up recording some music about a year and a half ago up in Indiana, and my
Mhm.
producer took me out during the day, and he took me to this little plaza like this,
Yeah.
and he went inside. It was delightful, low lighting,
Mm.
white linen tables, and it was a buffet.
Mm.
And I've never had Indian food, so I was able to try a little this, a little that. I
Yeah.
marveled at some like this really green saucy thing, and then this blue thing. It was really different, and it was really quite wonderful.
Yeah.
Is that what that cow? I
No.
need no. We
No.
need a good buffet, an
Yeah.
Indian buffet.
And Kata isn't an Indian restaurant. It's a Thai restaurant.
Oh, well, I want an Indian restaurant.
We do have one Indian restaurant.
Oh, now near where Scampi used to be. Right.
It's near the patio.
Yeah, I know where it is. That only, I know Dr. Mallon used to go there. The only thing is when somebody's not doing, I don't want to hurt anybody,
Yeah.
but when somebody's not doing a lot of business, I wonder how the flow is. I mean, like I will never order fish at some place that doesn't have a whole heap, a bunch of people. Oh, by the way, speaking of a bunch of people, was it Friday night I was at your restaurant?
Mhm.
My word.
Yeah, it's
What the
season
heck?
now. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you got to stop all that advertising with Rhett Palmer and his radio shows and
Yeah,
magazines.
that's what it is. Yeah.
You know, it was going out the door.
Yeah.
Literally,
It's season now. If
you
you're-
know, I have connections. I know the owners, and I had to wait 40 minutes to get in, and that was calling ahead for a reservation.
You waiting 40 minutes,
I
unbelievable.
Yeah,
don't
so
think
you
you waited 48 minutes on your life.
Well, it may not have been 40 minutes. Maybe it was.
It
Maybe it
was
was
more
4
like
minutes.
4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
but,
It was. You weren't out there.
well,
You came to my table after we sat there.
I hear some of your story, your exaggerations of waiting lines.
But you know, by the way, speaking of that, you're going to be taking one of the rooms you heretofore rented out to groups, public groups, and you're going to turn that into an extra full-time.
Well, no. See, that's why.
Oh, not yet?
No, we're not.
Okay, then we'll bring that up then. Oh, I forgot. Maybe this hasn't happened yet.
No, and it's just an additional way we can use things, not a permanent way of using things.
See, show them in the. Let's see that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. B has licked his to-go box from CJ Candace. Do you realize we're making everybody listening to the show? They want that. What's it called?
chip beef
Chip beef.
gravy over whatever, biscuits or toast.
You know, I don't know how you make that, where you get it from. I don't care. All I know is
We had a guy yesterday that wanted chip beef over grits with grilled onions and cheese.
Oh.
And it just looked like a mess, but the guy just cleaned it up.
did he promptly fall over from a heart attack when he was walking out? You know?
Everybody has their thing.
Oh
Yeah.
man, and the biscuits.
Mhm.
That's what, I had mine over biscuit.
I know, because you gave me a little bite.
Yeah.
No.
I remember.
Rhett, do you know what started your love of food? Do you remember it?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. He's observing over here, and all of a sudden he gets.
Right.
And Barbara's. I never knew that till Barbara came along. Like I'll talk about my first girlfriend,
Yeah.
Florine Wagner from Poughkeepsie, New York. And Florine Wagner and I remember I went to my first Kentucky Fried Chicken with her because she was older than me. I was 16, she was 19. And I'll tell you, she was asked to be in Virginia Slim commercial. She was a cutie little thing. But anyway, so she had this old time Cadillac with the fins on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was really cool. But I remember my strongest memory is going to the deli at the Poughkeepsie Plaza on a Saturday, and they have delicious fresh baked hard rolls with turkey, mayonnaise, and salt and pepper, and a tall glass of chocolate milk. And that's my memory of
That is,
Florida.
you know something?
I don't remember things when I was 16 that
I
well.
don't remember what I ate last night, to tell you the honest to God's
Yeah.
truth.
Oh,
But it is funny.
Yeah.
It's not funny. It's an observation, and you just brought it up. But I just had breakfast before I came in here with some people that do exactly like you are. They're foodies, yeah.
yeah.
And they go on vacation and plan their whole vacation out around where they're going to eat. And I thought about it, and since Richard brought it up with you, it's not odd, like in a bad way, but
Yeah.
it comes out in
I
you
don't
that
know.
you remember things about food so vividly.
I don't know. There were some challenges in my youth that maybe adults weren't around. They should have been around. Though we had great and grand affluence, the cupboards were often bare. Even my friend Tony Calici up the street, they owned the banana company. They owned the Pontiac dealership. They were a Greek family. We were good friends. He's now a lawyer down in Miami, up in Poughkeepsie, New York. But we would come home from school, and there was nothing in his cabinets either. It was like the women of that day and
Really?
age. I don't know what was going on.
In a Greek family?
We're trying to scrape together some crackers. Yeah.
Wow.
And then go, I remember being hungry after school or something. I don't know.
Mhm.
Oh, another thing about Florine Wagner. She had a grandmother, Italian. And I mean, this little, and up on the third floor in the garret apartment, those are garret apartments where you don't have flat roofs. It's like it comes up, the ceiling, comes up like this. Okay. It's essentially the attic turned into a little apartment. And her little Italian grandmother made these delicate little raviolis. I mean, that I can still...
Even the way you describe food is pretty good,
Well, but you see, you must remember, I was living on my own in a rooming house at 15. I had my own apartment at 16. I remember I went out drinking beers because I didn't want to feel alone. Coming home by myself at 16, I remember I got a Swanson's TV dinner, spaghetti meatballs, and I put it in the oven. Well, I woke up the next morning and it baked all night, so it was like totally carbon. And I took a hammer and nail, put it up on the wall, put a nail through it, said, "This looks like art, man." At least I made some use out of that. Your food's a funny thing.
Yeah.
I never realized it until Barbara came along. She says, you associate everything with food.
Yeah, you do. You make the stereotype true of the quickest way to a man's heart is through his belly.
Man, I'll tell you what. Now, water. We're all drinking water here. And I remember when Jerry Seinfeld said, "When did we all get so thirsty?" Because I remember when I was growing up, we didn't have bottled water, and nobody drank water.
It's funny you said that because I listened to a roundtable discussion. They were talking about, I think they were talking about the Affordable Care Act, redoing it and all this, and they were all doctors or in the medical profession, and they said, well, one of the guys said, "When did we all have to drink so much?"
Yeah.
And I remembered as a kid growing up, I would have maybe a drink out of the water fountain all day during school, and then one of my little milks during the school break. That was it all day.
Yeah.
And then when I went home, I'd go out and play, and if I was thirsty, I'd go in, get a glass of water, drink it, and then go back out and play.
Yeah.
Now, my wife's a teacher, and she says it's amazing how many people have to leave her class. One of the discussions they have is whether or not to allow kids to bring bottled water in with them to class.
Why?
Well, because they're to keep them hydrated. And
No, but
Florida,
I mean, it spills. Yeah, but we
Well,
didn't have that when we were kids.
no, but my point is, I think as a generation, we've become one of these. Don't you almost feel if you don't have your phone and a bottle of something that you're drinking?
Yeah.
Don't you almost
Yeah.
feel like you're missing
Like
something?
I have to have a bottle of water at all times in my vehicles now, because what happens if I start to choke on something? I gotta have my bottle
And
of
it is
water.
funny that you said Jerry Seinfeld brought that up, because
Yeah.
it's exactly right. When did we become so thirsty?
And here's something
That's
else.
funny.
Here's something ironic. I never put it together before, too. So Jerry Seinfeld said that years ago.
Mhm.
Well, I was at the Nantucket Film Festival a couple of years ago, and Jerry was there.
Mm.
Okay, and so we're in this little secluded auditorium for a private gathering on the dark side of humor. And I'm like, I got to tell you something, I'm like in awe of Jerry Seinfeld.
Mhm.
I mean, I've gone to see him like 3 times,
Yeah. That's good.
and there's no swearing. I
Yeah.
mean, he's intelligent,
Yeah.
and he's to me, it is art. We don't realize how maybe some of you out there do realize, but comedy is art. It shows us, it focuses in on something we otherwise wouldn't notice. Well, anyway, and I should be embarrassed to tell you this, but just to show my humanity, I will. So I'm there, and I'm looking down at Jerry Seinfeld, right? And there's the other comedians, like that guy who drinks the martinis. He was there.
Tater.
Yeah,
What's his name?
and then there's the Indian guy who was hilarious. The little Indian guy. Anyway, so Jerry Seinfeld leans down
Mhm.
and he drinks from bottled water, and I went, "Oh wow, he drinks bottled water like me." I mean, like I'm saying, Rhett, God would not be pleased with this idolatry you have for Jerry Seinfeld, you know. But what happened to me when I was a kid? Just I don't know if anybody can relate to this out there, you guys. My grandma Delancey, she was the all-American. She just looked like a grandma. Didn't necessarily speak proper English, but she was the quintessential all-American grandma, apple pie and all that stuff. So I remember I was 8 years of age and I got deathly sick, and I'm lying on grandma's couch. I don't know how I ended up at grandma's, but I am so sick with the flu, to the point where if you put water on my lips, I would vomit. I had such a reaction to anything entering my body. And I was so desperately thirsty, and I vowed, if a child can vow, I didn't know the word vow then, but it's like I vowed, I said, if I ever drink water again, I will never forget this moment, and I never have. I love water to this day because of that. And now even that I'm talking about, I have to drink some water. Yes. It's either that or ice cold, fresh squeezed Hale Grove's orange juice, right?
Right.
Now, delicious ice cold. In fact, we went up there over the weekend and we tried that frozen. Got a cone there with the frozen dessert, and it has the swirls of the vanilla and the orange. And Barbara said to me, said, I wonder after our generation dies out, if they'll have this because it's reminiscent of our what do you call those cream cones? Creamsicles. But one thing they had to do, and I'd like to admonish the people up there, is they had the second Taylor was with banana swirl and chocolate. Oh my word! That's my favorite, like of all time.
I think things go in full circle like that, because it's funny. Some of the things that seem like they were leaving, and then people come back and start eating them like it's brand new again. Like a creamsicle. Will be like the new flavor, and it'll be like, oh, can you believe that they blended these two flavors together? And we've always had it.
It's funny. I think women, they say statistically, are more apt to experiment with food. Men I want the way Mama cooked it, with my pot roast, my gravy, and my mashed taters. Anyway, hey, ladies and gentlemen, today's broadcast is brought to you by Al's Auto Restoration. Foggy headlights can create dangerous drive-in conditions. So I want you to call these two brothers at 696-2820. They will come to your home or your place of business. Al's Auto Restoration. Does your leather look old and faded? They make leather look new again. Headlight lens restoration. And they also come and clean your car. They detail. Now, they're a little pricey, folks, but you will get $50 off your first visit if you mention my show. Al's Auto Restoration. What was that phone number? Okay, it's 696-2820. 696-2820.
Right. The movie Dad and Mom, the audience did not clap after that movie.
Yeah. Well, which one was that? Oh, the one where the
Kids.
two little girls are in the hallway, and she's looking through. She comes out from the bedroom. The other one comes out from her bedroom and says, "What are you doing?" And the little one says, "Oh, I'm looking for the people. And Daddy is Daddy's on top of mommy, and she's yelling. And says,
He's at
well,
the
that's what.
doorway.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
no, you know. So anyway, so she says, well, that's okay. Daddy's giving mommy seed for another child. You know, we can pray for another baby boy. And she goes, oh no, she said, Daddy's putting a seed in Mama's mouth now, and it goes on and on. So then all of a sudden, the girls are up, and they're up there, you know, in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden, from down in the basement, the father yells, "Girls, what are you doing?" And they said, "Who's in there with mommy?" I said, "Well, that's because Daddy's always too busy. Probably brought in a friend." And that's the way the little short ends.
The audience clapped after every other show.
You know why? Because of their disapproval for that. It's not really, people really don't admire adultery, and they don't admire fornication, and it's really not a nice thing for our society.
No.
Matter of fact, what do they always say the best thing a dad can do for his family? What's the best thing Chuck can do for his daughter? Love his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah.
And she feels secure. It's just like, just don't you sometimes, I mean, hasn't there been a situation where somebody you know was famous and they got a divorce and made you feel a little insecure, like you want them to, like a Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. I wanted them to be a forever family.
I think that if you tie this into politics, I think a lot of the left feel that way about Barack Obama leaving the presidency. I think a lot of them almost feel like abandonment.
No. I felt that too. I mean, I guess I voted for Trump, and I'm glad he's in. But I know a lot of people are very vitriolic towards Mr. Obama, and if I ever got to meet Michelle, I apologize for the nasty things some far right people have said. I don't understand that, saying she's a man. How horrible to say that to a
I
woman.
think people try to be shocking just to be like
No,
you said,
they're
notarized. Yeah, I know, but I think that it makes them feel some sort of power that they have.
Now, see, now that's just like that. My counselor would say, see, that's a very healthy way of looking at it, because they're not bad people. It's just because they feel inferior. It's just like people that don't like me. I've had to come to realize once you're put in the public eye, there are people out there that, wow, I'm so happy for you. I love the mayor of the airways. Well, great. I hope your life's good too. And Chuck, you come to me and say, Rhett, I won $100 million in the lottery. Of course, I'd be thinking, gee, Chuck, please, just a couple,
No.
2%.
Get that out of your head.
1%. And anyway, but I'd be happy for you.
Yeah, right. I understand.
Wow.
Yeah.
Or if you came up like.
But you know why? Because you try to surround yourself with good and positive and all that. So you try to be good and positive also. But there's some people that are just miserable. And I think if they're miserable, they just try to make everybody
And
else
they don't
miserable,
even know.
or they try to. And my wife and I will get these debates, and I always say the same thing: the half full, half empty. I said, why do you have to see that anything is half empty? Why can't it be half full?
Hey, I got an idea. You want to really get Richard insecure? Go over, sit in his seat. He'll be baffled. Watch out. He won't know what to do when he comes in.
All right.
We're changing things.
Because I know, I go to
And
some.
I like this seat though. You can see the clock, you can see Mr. B.
Well, what made me think about this was I like this.
So
I like this.
if we keep it like this is
Yeah.
better, I think.
There's a
Then I can
camera
see,
angle, yeah.
Want to switch seats?
Sure, if you're looking. What's your email address for the applicant?
I don't know my email. I know my secret. Hold on a second. Hey Siri, call Kathy Cooper Superstar.
Calling Kathy Cooper Superstar.
Cancer is no laughing matter.
On the radio. She didn't notice I was tied in balls and chains. She didn't notice I was walking inside. ride my bucking steers. I killed my best friend down in Laredo. I ain't free to come and go. Oh, no. I shot my best friend down in Laredo. I saw this pretty girl, she was walking down the street, and now she came around the corner, she was just staring at me, and she said, "Hey, you, Rhett Palmer, I'm your fan. I'd like to be your woman." I said, "Oh, no, I ain't free to come and go." Whoa, whoa. I shot my best friend down in Laredo. No, I ain't free to come and go. But when I get out of this prison, I'd like to come over for some pot roast and potatoes.
30 seconds to the open, then the life of Chuck, then the pledge.
Richard, may I have my telephone, please? I just wrote this classic song that could have broken me through, and I'd be on the Grammys next year. But you had my phone. Actually, wouldn't it be sad if that was true? You never know.
You never know.
I said, "Oh no, I ain't free to come
Did Judy
and
Collins
go."
win the country
Hello,
record, Rhett?
what's up?
Did Judy Collins win the country record of the year?
I don't know, but I'm writing this song. Hold on, all right?
Okay, you're
I
in your
said,
element.
"Oh no, I ain't free to come and go." Well, I was just walking down the street when this pretty girl come around the corner, and she was staring at me, and she said, "Hey man, I'm your #1 fan. If it be okay, I'd like to be your woman." I said, "Oh no."
What an honor to have a song named after you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey. No. Say that on the air.
Okay.
But it says everything during the break.
You know, Chuck, it must be such an honor to have a song named after you.
Oh, it is.
Wow.
It is.
I can't
It is climbing the
imagine
charts too.
that. You're
Did
pretty
Debbie
famous,
Murphy? Did Debbie Murphy play that? Did she play that on Friday night?
Oh yeah, a couple of times. Every time I walk.
Remember
through
this
the
one?
lobby.
Just a small town idiot with a microphone wouldn't leave all the local merchants alone. If you got a business, got you on my radar. That's how I became a radio star. That's how we became.
I
Sing it with
heard
me.
that. I knew I.
That's how we. Sing it with me. That's how we became a radio star. And we wrote this whole song right on the spot, and it was on my website for years. And actually, Barbara thought it was one of the best songs I'd ever written. And now I don't know when they changed my website if that thing's just like gone forever.
Well, you remember it, so you can always read it.
I don't remember the next line. It was all about interviewing aliens and weird people and stuff.
Now, are we talking about illegal aliens? Or?
No, we're talking about space aliens.
Okay.
I've had people in here that say that they've been, either they came from another planet. Oh, you run into real
Really?
oddities. Oh, in the radio business?
Yeah.
That's the title of my book, The Oddities I've Met in 23 Years on the Radio.
Interesting. They actually think that they came from another planet.
And you'd be shocked to know who in this town claims that they were picked up by spacecraft.
That's more normal. I mean, not that it's normal.
There's more than one.
You hear about that. You don't usually hear about people thinking that their mother is not really.
Do you ever have a dream where you like somebody kind of like takes over your body, like a demonic, devilish force?
No, that's just you, Rhett.
Maybe it's not a dream.
So anyway.
Sorry.
Maybe it's not a dream.
Have you ever been thrown in the mud and kicked in the head with an iron boot?
No.
On an airplane or airport or something?
Yeah.
There's only one bad thing about when you guys come in at the beginning of the week. You know what that is?
What's that?
It's
It
all
ends.
downhill from here.
No, it ends.
Yeah.
Like I'll go later in the day. I'll go. What did we all? Boy, we sure had a great. It's like we have a good time, but it goes by like.
It does
It
go
does
by
go by
really quick.
fast, yeah.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if that's true for the listeners or just for us.
Well,
If we're having fun, I'm sure they're having fun.
Vicariously, or they feel like they're joining in with us. And by the way, you can join in with us too if you ever want to call in and you want to be nice. No swearing allowed, please, and no genitalia talk because we don't have infantile genitalia fixation on this show. And hopefully, if you do, you will get mature and come out of that and enjoy adulthood. But anyway, you can call us at 778-3500, 778-3500. You can call me on my personal cell, 473-7777-772, 473-7777. Hey, listener Lloyd, up in, where's he listening to? Up in Gainesville.
yeah.
Are you
well,
listening right now, listener Lloyd? Give me a call.
He always calls in.
I haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks. Maybe he felt he was calling a little too much,
It's possible.
or maybe he died and went to heaven.
I think that I find myself watching people having conversations a lot more, listening to them since moving down to Vero Beach, because up in Michigan, people would be having deep conversations all the time. But here, it's harder. It's harder to find people that really want to engage.
I don't understand. Where are they having these deep conversations?
Oh, we had
in
it at the
Michigan.
gas station. We had a long
At the gas station.
Yeah, we had a long talk about philosophy with a gas station attendant at 3 a.m. who was and so like that was just one occurrence, but that happened all the time. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you go, they weren't nice. They were mean usually, but they were willing to talk about anything.
That's the title of my newest book, Deep Conversations at the Gas Station.
Yeah.
Deep Conversation at the gas station. We're talking about having libation. Anyway, so
We
let's
talked
see.
for I think an hour. Just,
Just another
Talking
player
about-
blue,
Okay,
man.
on
Another
Saturday
didn't
morning,
know the guy at all.
on Saturday morning, Beverly and I went to the, Barbara got there a little late, so she missed this lady. But the lady on happiness,
Oh.
Beverly, the
The
lady on happiness.
science of happiness.
This was really good. I mean, she talked about the power of adaptation to a situation, the power of putting effort into life, 10 strategies for increasing happiness, and change your behavior, sleep well, exercise, time outside with nature, meditation. Now there's conclusive, I remember watching Saturday morning, whatever that TV show was with Charles Osgood. Now it's been taken over by, what's her name? I met her here in this town.
Oh, yeah.
Paula.
Mhm.
Well, anyway, she's running that show. But anyway, they said that what was I talking about here? The master zone.
Happiness.
Meditation. He did this segment on meditation and said, when I was younger, I poo-hooed meditation, everything, and I can't believe I'm doing a segment on meditation. Strictly from a scientific point of view, they now say it really 10 minutes of meditation a day, and he put it very simply. All you need to do is Concentrate on your breathing. See, we should have now. If this show goes national, we could have. We could put it on. We could knock Rush off. We should be on at noon, and everybody in the United States tunes in at noon to hear the mayor of the airways. Okay, everybody, slow down. Traffic, stop, pull over. Everybody in your offices, at home, all of a sudden, just think all the diners go silent. Everybody does this, and for 10 minutes, the whole United States meditates every day. This becomes this. I become this famous talk host that everybody just listens to, and everybody follows, and I am the guru of the airways. I've risen from the mayor there to the guru of the airways. I want to tell you that talk with an Indian accent. No, come on from Calcutta just to teach you how to meditate. Now, the order that we're going to learn to live off the prana of the air. Now, everybody close their eyes unless you're driving a car. And just watch. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Slowly.
Look at the
Breathe
road.
out. Now,
Don't
actually,
close your eyes.
is this connected to yoga? Because you have a lady in your church who has
Yes.
lost, actually, it's your mother-in-law. She lost 100 pounds doing yoga this past year. How'd she do it? Did she tell you?
She does DDP yoga, which is Diamond Dallas Page yoga. That is more exercise-based yoga. And one of the things I was going to say is I think it's funny you do an Indian accent to do meditation because people think of meditation as like an Eastern philosophy.
I thought it
It's
was
not.
anti-Christ.
It's not. It's a biblical tradition.
Mhm.
It's not just biblical. It's Eastern too. But every major religion practices a form of
Wow,
meditation,
I didn't know that.
including
See
Christianity
that? Look at that.
and Judaism.
So we all need to learn to meditate. You
Yeah.
don't have to talk to Indian accent. You don't have to do that. Like
says it in-
Lalita Junkie, are you coming over this week to talk about what's
Camp
that?
Haven.
Camp Haven to talk about. Anyway, so also now on the key of happiness, find your match. No, not your love match. Your match professionally, personally. What makes you happy? If you're waiting tables and you hate it or hate people, get out of it.
Oh, okay.
You
That's
know?
what you're saying.
Yeah, do what you love. Okay.
Yeah.
The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Steve Jobs said that. The only way to do great work is to love what you do.
Mhm.
Another one, read a book. She said her husband reads the book called The Road, which is a dark, mysterious, whatever, is crime book, but he reads it like every month. He reads it. Well, that's okay. If he loves it, great. A gratitude journal, but for things you're thankful for right now.
Yeah.
A gratitude journal. Debbie Maycomber's had one of those since she was 6. What?
We've been doing that with the church now.
Yes.
Where we're having,
Every Sunday at the end of the service.
yeah, people write down things that they're grateful for.
You did it one time, and then somebody said you need
Some
to do that all the
random-
time.
Who knows who that guy was?
Yeah, who was that guy?
Recommended
That
it.
radio host, right? Some radio host guy. Things you're thankful for right now. Here's another thing. Write a letter to a person who's influenced your life in a really positive way, and go to that person if they're still alive. Seek them out.
Mm.
And read
And-
the letter in front of the person.
Yes, to them.
Mhm.
She
There's a-
stole your thunder there.
No, I don't mind. That's okay. We should be participating in this together. Don't wait for the eulogy. Go and see that person now.
That's good advice.
Smile. Smiling actually affects your happiness.
Mhm.
If you go like that, they said people who are grunting with
Well,
heavy loads.
Not that
And-
kind of smile. It's creepy.
Yeah, that's
You
a
know?
very creepy
I was thinking
That's a lot.
clown smile or something.
Yeah.
Well, she said if you're people that were straining to lift
I
something, if
understand.
they smiled,
Yes.
it made it much easier. Or if they were able to put their hand in something hot boiling water or something, they were able to hold it there much longer because they were smiling. It actually increases your or endorphins.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever it is. Anyway. Perform random acts of.
Kindness.
Yes, sir. Volunteer, donate to charities. Giving increases happiness. More happy what was the analogy she used for giving or getting? She said, would you like people that were given stuff? Oh no, I know they did something where they were given, after you're done with this, you'll be, there was one group, after you're done doing this examination, you'll be given this gift.
Mhm.
And those people worked. And then there was another group, they were
Yes.
given, but they give it away.
Give away.
Who was the happier group?
Yeah, I
The
shared
group
this
that
in my sermon a lot. Yeah, there's a study where they gave $5, $25, and $100 bills to people, and they asked them their happiness after they gave it, which had a peak of spike of happiness. But then they called them the next day and they asked them their happiness level, and they found that there was no difference between before they gave the money and the next day. So they were happy for a second when they got the money, but then by the next day it had worn off.
But if you give it away,
If they gave it away,
it lingers.
same peak spike of happiness after they gave it away, they felt good, you know.
Yeah.
But the difference was the next day they still felt happier.
Yeah. I remember one time I was offered $23,000. Now, to some that's still a lot, to some it means nothing. But it was 30 years ago. I was handling the advertising for a golf course in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And it was Evergreen Golf Club, owned by Joe Bove. I don't know if he's still alive. He also had some golf courses down here. Wealthy man. But anyway, what were we talking about?
Giving money.
You gave quite a bit of money away 23 years ago.
No. Oh no, no, that wasn't the money. I was offered $23,000 to help assist. We're down in the basement, and he says, "Rhett, your portion of this, it'll be like $50,000, but your portion will be $23,000 if you can sell the sides of my golf carts to maybe cigarette companies or something, or whatever it might be." Anyway, go upstairs. I swear to God, I talked to this man. He walked out. He was the speaker at a local Rotary Club. He was one of the vice presidents of Philip Morris. And I said, "We'd like to sell you the sides of our golf carts for advertising." He says, "We are interested without a doubt." Blah, blah. I'm thinking, cha-ching, $23,000. Do you know what? I never called that guy. I said, I don't want to be a part of turning anybody on to cigarettes or encouraging smoking cigarettes. And you know what? I'm telling this story now. Do you think I could tell you that story if I made the $23,000? I guarantee you the $23,000 would have been gone in a month or two, right? That would have been gone. But now this memory lingers, and guess what? I feel good about Rhett because I turned down blood money. And by the way, the first president of Marlboro died of cancer, and the first guy that started the Marlboro TV commercials died of cancer. You know, there's a curse, like the Kennedy curse with booze. I don't know, just a thought.
And what's interesting about all these happiness things, we validate them because we say the science of happiness, and there's study and research that goes into showing that. And I love studies and research. One thing that's interesting is you get the correlation at some point that they're like, this is all just what Jesus told us to do.
Avoid comparisons. Avoid comparisons. Except, she said, like my son. I was devastated. My son. I'm a professor at what university? I forget where.
Oh, she's from Amherst.
Yeah, and her son was failing in Spanish, and she said, "Oh," and I was really upset. My son was failing Spanish, and then I thought about, well, how about all the kids that are my son's age that are in cancer clinics right now at the hospital? That's a good comparison. Okay, but people who
There's a quote that says, "Comparison is the thief of joy."
Really? Okay. Somebody's on the line. How you doing? Good morning. Hi. How are you? And who is this? Hi, Leo. Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, you have just asked that question on the air, and so we'll see how the response is. Yeah, you just said it on the air, and we appreciate that. And,
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
You're in your 90s. You don't sound like you're in your 90s. I would say you sound like maybe you're 50. Well, congrats, but don't be a stranger. Stop into our studio here at Royal Palm Point anytime you'd like. We're usually not here after noon, So between the hours of 7:30 a.m. and noon, we are in the studio here at Royal Palm Point. So come over and introduce yourself sometime, all right? And thank you for your service. And the Saratoga, I'm come from that region. I actually did the musical jingle for Saratoga, the Chamber of Commerce up in upstate New York, which I presume is somehow related to the Saratoga. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye. Well, that was a nice phone call, huh?
Very nice.
Yeah.
You know, the list you were going over on, was it
Happiness?
happiness?
Yeah.
A couple things. First thing I liked was make an effort in life. I love that line because a lot of people just get up and let life happen. And if you get up and make an involvement to be in life,
Yeah.
it will change your life. I agree with that 100%. The other was love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
You said, Steve Jobs said. We talk about that, and we have server meeting or employee meetings, and I always tell people it's also a perception of what you're doing, because a lot of people think that I get up and I wait tables. How is that exciting? You know, or I get up and I go do roofing. How is that exciting? But I tell my servers, I said, you're going out there, you're making relationships, you're
Yeah.
making sales, you're making commissions, you're getting involved.
If my server doesn't have a good time serving me, then I don't have a good meal.
If you keep,
They have power.
if you keep adding to the benefits of just doing things, it becomes more fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think that's a great attitude. And you can always be gratitude, certainly over anything, any situation. I mean, you could be in prison, and because they're bringing you some goulash, be thankful you have some goulash, because somebody somewhere sitting in a prison in Mexico, it's not getting any goulash. We got to take a break. Today's broadcast brought to you by Center for Advanced Eye Care. 5 eye doctors that genuinely care about your eye care. Center for Advanced Eye Care.
The best part of a Mary Tyler Moore show was when
Yeah,
Ted
well,
Knight came in and Mary Tyler Moore was all down, and he goes, "What's the matter?" And she goes, "I don't know. I got up, I had my coffee, I took the bus to work, and here I sit at my desk." And Ted Knight goes, "That's exactly what's wrong with you." And she goes, "Well, what do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, this morning I got up, I had my coffee, and I took the bus, and I'm sitting at work now." And she's like, "Oh, shut up, Ted."
You have to go.
Yes.
So, but didn't that go by fast?
Yes, it
Now,
is.
that can't be an hour and a half. An hour and a half?
An hour and a half.
And actually a little bit more, because what did you get here? 5-10 minutes sooner. It's almost 2 hours.
I was here a
Amazing.
half hour earlier, but
You were? Oh, you got here that early.
yeah, we cleaned up a lot. Mr. Bill and I, and Mr. B.
Mr. Bill,
I'll
you're
see ya.
saying it
See
still.
ya.
See you later.
All right.
You want an orange juice or a shot?
Time with the dentist.
Or visit us online today. When it comes to taxes, we automatically think of April 15th, but that's just the deadline for filing your return. Tax planning is a year-round job, and David Brooks and Ferris Wealth Management can help develop strategies for minimizing the amount of taxes you owe. That helps you build a more secure retirement. Remember, friends don't let friends retire broke. Call 772-237-3440 or visit retiredforreal.com. David Brooks is a registered investment advisor. My contact information provided for information about insurance, including annuities. The tide is in. Whether it be a special event, romantic dinner, or a great night out, it is sure to be a memorable event at the Tides Restaurant. Chef Kelleher's latest innovations, always an award-winning culinary experience. You'll taste the freshest seafood, locally grown, organically raised vegetables, and the finest meats to create masterful presentations of both flavor and form. A complete dining experience to meet all of your expectations. The Tides Restaurant, temporomandibular joint problems and sleep problems. What that means is people that have headaches on the side of their head, have problems with the way their teeth come together, have a limited opening. These are the type of problems that I treat, and also patients that have problems sleeping. They feel very tired during the day, don't function well, and their sleeping partner mentions that they stop sleeping at night. These are the two problems we try to take care of. Dr. Delaney can be reached at 772-713-1034. 772-713-1034.
Oh, don't touch my butt, my achy breaky butt. Oh, Kimberly Marie.
Is Chuck gone?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. I thought he stays till 10.
He usually does.
Oh, okay.
Dentist appointment.
Okay. When that guy called in, I do screen the calls, and he said that would be a good question for Rhett to ask on the air. And I said, well, why don't you do it, sir? We'll get you on the air with Rhett. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, especially when he
We
told
love
me
getting phone calls.
he was 90 years
Even
old.
if somebody's mad about something, say, well, sir, I'll put you on the air. Just try not to, we prefer no swearing, you know.
Okay. So I do screen them, and I thought that was an interesting. Too bad we didn't have more time to talk. It was getting into news time, you know. But short and sweet. All right, so we'll have Beverly and the Reverend.
We got Ask the Hair Guy segment for Valentine's Day.
Oh, good. You can play that now.
Yeah, it'll be right after we come back. And I'll kill the life of Chuck then.
Yes, thank you.
So when we come back, the spot is the hair guy for 2 minutes.
And you have the studio feed off for Facebook, right?
I have what?
You have the Facebook feed off?
Mm-mm.
We're not getting it. Okay. Yeah, I see
Let's
it.
go through the whole thing.
No, I see it. I see it.
Well, it may not be on. Maybe something's wrong.
All
Let's
right.
go through the whole thing. Let's kill it. Why don't you turn it all off? And
Let's see if I got it in here.
yeah, it was on. Had 128 views.
Well, what should I get my girl for Valentine's Day? The age-old question. You know, every year at this time, I know it's Valentine's Day because you guys show up in front of my salon in these monster trucks and stuff. You walk in as if you've walked into a strange planet of Venus full of females and you don't know what to do. Well, March of the Point Salon and Boutique has made that super easy for you. Simply log on to AskTheHairGuy.com. On there is a comment page. You can make your request of any dollar amount, any particular gift, but if I had to recommend one thing to any young man to get his girl, I mean, you want happy points, and I know you do. I would say in March of the Point Salon and Boutique waterfront pedicure. It's one of a kind. We're the only waterfront pedicure in all of Virginia and River County and possibly beyond. I haven't discovered one yet, but nonetheless, you sit there, you overlook. Have you been in, Joseph? Have you seen this? Right? You've seen the water, right? You know,
Excuse me.
You had to wait to come all the way in here and sneeze.
Sorry.
Are you downloading anything?
Right now the computer's moving really slow, so
She
the
said,
photos-
not to use that computer.
She said because why?
It's old.
It's
Barbara
old.
said, don't use that computer. It's old.
Yeah.
She said, use this one. Now, hold on. At the very beginning today, I talked about someplace new to eat or something. I thought, that's where we're going to go have lunch today. Where was it? Right at the beginning, right within the first 5 minutes.
Well, we were talking about food a lot.
Here
we
we
were talking
go.
about
Open
we
his
talked
neck.
about Kata. We talked about the Indian food
That's it.
place.
That's it.
Which one?
Kata.
Kata.
I wonder if they're
It's
open.
a Thai place. It's really nice. I like
How's that?
the well, you know Saki. You've been to Saki, right?
Yeah.
It's
You
the
like
same
that?
ownership.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
How do we get them to advertise with you?
almost the same.
This is the mayor of the airwaves. Good morning, Mr. B. How are you? Are you feeling happy because you had Chuck from CJ Cannons bring you in your breakfast today?
I'm sure he's thrilled.
You can't hear him?
I can't hear him.
Yeah, we're not getting you, Mr. B. We're getting me in the headsets. You're not on the air. Something is awry.
Mm-hmm.
There.
No.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah.
No.
What
Sounds
was
good.
wrong? Oh. Yeah, somebody messing with that mic. And what was that you got to go from CJ Cannons this morning? But let me tell you something. You're not going to be able to maintain that schoolgirl figure. You keep eating that every day. Once a month. Narrowed it down to once. Yes.
I think. Oh, there we go. I guess the switch was with your mic. We can't talk at the same time, huh? Oh, we can? Oh, well, there you go. For a second there, it sounded like my mic was off, but we're good. Oh, it was. Okay. All right.
Hi there. So good to be with you.
Yeah, there was a long-haired blonde guy last night at Ocean Grill, and Bixby just said Roger Waters of Pink Floyd is a regular at Ocean Grill. Does he have long blonde hair? Skinny?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We got some pretty interesting people.
Guitarist is not something I usually, even individual of a band, I don't really pay a lot of attention to, unless it's a band like the Beatles. Like, I don't really care. Because to me,
you don't care.
Well, I know that sounds cold, but to me, they're entertainers, and I love them and am amazed by their music. But it's not like they, like you said with Jerry Seinfeld, and how he drinks water just the same as us. Puts pants on one leg at a time. You know, they're just like us. They just have a very impressive talent.
Don't you? I'm of the belief that everybody listening to this broadcast right now has a special gift.
Yeah.
I mean, really. Now, I don't know what that might be. You know, just like, remember, I've just bought a book recently. Do you remember the crippled guy? He's now deceased, but he was crippled with, what is it when you shake like this? Parkinson's.
Okay.
And he was on, remember, on 60 Minutes years ago, and he goes door to door selling things every day.
No.
No, you don't remember that?
That's right.
I bought the book, the book about him, and you know, just he had a wonderful life. He just took, but he loved visiting with people and selling.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he sold door to door. Maybe Fuller brushes. Heck, I don't know what he sold, but quite a story. So my point being that everybody, you know, I mean, if you like taming lions, then go tame lions. It's so hard. It's easy to say though, because like, what would you like to do if you could do anything? Now, I know this is something you would like. I'd like to somehow be involved in the motion picture industry. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody, you know. Yeah. I do believe that. I believe that, you know, I could have, you know, should have, would have.
There's a lot of things that I would enjoy doing, but I'm basically doing the thing that I would most want if I could pick one thing, which is trying to help people.
You know what's weird? Oh yeah, well you are doing that.
Yeah, I'm doing that. So
Yeah.
making a difference in the lives of people that are struggling and
It's
being there
really
for them.
cool the way that you have this affection for the motion picture. I mean,
Mhm.
you're one of those, I mean, there's me, there's you, and there might be, a couple more of us in town
Mhm.
that are that driven. I mean,
Mhm.
because from the time I was 9, I had my Super 8 camera, I made motion pictures.
Yeah.
And, like, did you ever, I was going to rent this last night. Did you ever see Fellini's Satyricon or 8.5? It's sort of
No.
bizarre.
No, I
Okay,
haven't
'cause I
seen
just
that
wonder
one.
what you thought about stuff like that.
Yeah. There was a time period where I used to watch a lot of artsy and unique and indie films, and I spent time just tracking them down and trying to find rare, unique films. I found that I don't have as much interest in that as I used to. And I don't know if that's partly just I don't have the same friends to like talk about it because we used to talk about rare and unique films and what we liked about it and stuff like that.
I'm surprised you weren't at the film fest on.
I wanted to go. I didn't even remember
Well, I
that it
could have gotten you
was
tickets.
happening, but yeah,
Yeah, you really should have been there. There were a couple of empty seats.
yeah.
The
Well-
afternoon was sold out though, right, Beverly? That's what she said.
Yes, yeah.
We had a couple of empty seats in the evening, but what amazed me is that of course, it was an audience of intellect.
Mhm.
But after every short, except one, the crowd applauded, and
Yeah.
it was really wonderful.
Mhm.
Of course, maybe it's because there was the connection of knowing that this producer director was there, and you felt perhaps maybe some of the people there thought the directors might have been in the audience. I don't think they
Maybe.
were, but maybe there's some connection, and you felt like maybe it would get back to the. When's the last time? The last time I was in a movie that I applauded was about the 3 black ladies who worked at NASA.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
figures.
Figures, what is it called? Something Figures?
I can never remember.
Whatever. Lousy name for the movie. They should
Yeah,
change
it's
that.
too bad
They
when
tried to be cute. When you try to be cute, that doesn't work in advertising. Don't try to
Yeah.
be cute,
yeah.
like this
You want a
advertisement in
simple
Albany,
name.
New York, there was this jewelry company. Oh, you'll be nuts over these. And they strung their jewels over nuts.
Yeah.
Walnuts and stuff. I was like, no, that's like really stupid. Don't try to be cute. And people have to figure out. Let me give you a little advice here, okay? This is my $5,000 a day advice that I get when I consult companies.
Yeah.
Okay, your name should say what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, just remember that. If your name doesn't communicate what you do, get rid of that name
Mhm.
and increase your business today. And then send the mayor of the airways 10% of that increase over the next year.
Well, there's a movie, and neither of these movies are great content-wise in terms of there's some filth in them. But there's a movie called Nice Guys. You heard about Nice Guys? Did you watch it?
Years ago, I think.
Okay,
What was
well,
it
it's not
about?
that. It's pretty new.
Maybe not.
But either way, it's a comedy. It's a buddy cop comedy. Or well, it's not a cop thing, but it's like
Yeah.
a buddy comedy.
Hold on, who's in
Nice
that?
Guys.
Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw
Should
it
I rent
recently. It's okay. I really like the writer and director. He makes really funny and
It's on Netflix now, right?
yeah, he has
Yeah.
things that happen that are goofy. You have to suspend disbelief, but they have
Suspend your belief.
disbelief. Suspend disbelief.
Suspend disbelief.
Yeah, so you have to just enjoy it as a film.
I
even
never
though
heard
it's
that
gonna be
before.
boring.
Suspend disbelief. That's a good positive view.
Yeah,
You see a movie, go, oh, that's incredible. I'll go complaining. That could incredibly happen. That's not. And you say, suspend your disbelief. Yeah, it's much more fun to suspend your disbelief.
yeah. One of the things that I do when I walk into a movie theater is I'm expecting not just to see a movie in this universe. Even if it's not a science fiction, I'm expecting to go into a movie and be taken into a different world.
Yeah.
It has different rules, different people act differently. So when people say, "Oh, someone would never say that or never do that," well, I don't really care because it's a movie, it's a story.
You
it's a
changed my life
universe.
with your insight because I go to your church on Sundays,
Mhm.
and it's that your insight in movies. Did you come up with that thing? I know you taught. I learned it from you. Well, that was the Groundhog Day.
Yeah, I came up with that.
And I gotta tell you something. That's so. Hey, I didn't know. Somebody told me that you were summa cum laude or whatever it is.
Graduated summa cum laude in high school.
And what does that
Yeah.
mean? I'm so stupid. I don't even know. Remember, I'm a high school dropout.
3.9 or higher.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
Well, I don't think a lot of it.
You don't, because you've never told
I
me.
was impressed, and that's what I told them.
Yeah,
I mean, this very. I want to tell you how insightful it was about Groundhog Day, and I
Mhm.
watched it, and it was kind of like weird, and I never wanted to watch it again. It was kind of odd, like going over. What's the point of that? Until you tell briefly, concisely. Listen to this. Have you ever seen Groundhog Day, ladies and gentlemen? It is so insightful. Next time you watch this, it's a good lesson there's a big, huge lesson. And probably you folks maybe get, I lack common sense, so I need somebody to show me the way.
Explain that.
Well, in the movie Groundhog Day, and I actually did a Gospel Minute on Facebook about this recently. You can check. I even have clips of the film in it. But in Groundhog's Day, Bill Murray's character Phil lives the same day over and over and over. And at first, he's kind of just weirded out, and then he's like, "Well, I can do whatever I want." Does a bunch of crazy stuff, and then he becomes really depressed until he falls in love with this girl. And when he falls in love with this girl, he realizes at a certain point that he's not worth her, and he decides that he needs to change. Not his circumstances, but he
Okay,
from
like he's
within.
walking along this town, and this kid falls out of a tree and breaks his leg.
Yeah,
And every day he walks by at 10:10, and the kid falls out of a tree and breaks his leg. He does it the next day, next day. Finally, he gets to the point where he stands under the tree and catches the kid.
that's right.
And then this lady who had a car accident every day, then he goes up and gets there ahead of time and says, "Hold on, wait a second." And since she misses the car accident, another person's going to have a flat tire. So every day they have a flat tire. So he finally walks by them. Finally, now he says, "Hey," he rolls up his sleeves and he helps pump up the flat tire.
That's right.
And so
And
the circumstances never change.
he even saves this one guy's life who is choking, and he goes and gives him the Heimlich remover.
And wasn't there a guy who's going to commit
maneuver.
suicide too or something, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
But
So he just goes around
he
and
changes.
does it every day. Every day he does all these things. Now here's the thing that to me is the purpose, the meaning of this film. It doesn't matter that the circumstances don't change. It doesn't matter that each day he wakes up and he has to do it again. We sometimes in our life think that the problem is our circumstances. We think that we're surrounded by this world, and if that would change, then our life would be better.
What did Chuck just say before he left? Had an appointment this morning. Had to leave early. What did he just say about Mary Tyler Moore coming in saying, "Oh, I have to go, and I got up this morning and I had the same old cup of coffee, and then I had to walk down, get dressed, walk downstairs, take the bus, and then I had to come in here and sit at the desk." And that's when the other guy,
Yeah.
Ted Knight, goes, "Oh, well, here's, in
Yeah.
case you weren't listening, folks, I'm just reenacting this. Oh, well, this morning, that's the difference between you and I. This morning, I got up this morning,
Yeah.
and I had the opportunity to have a cup of coffee, and then I got dressed, and I walked down, and I got to ride the bus with people, and then I walked downstairs, and I've got a job, and I'm sitting at my desk." It's within
It's
us.
all perspective.
Gratitude will change your attitude, will change your life.
That's right. And so that's what happens in the film. We get in this trap where we forget it's not about our circumstances, and doing good is not about changing circumstances. Doing good changes us. If we go and serve others, our life becomes more full and meaningful, and it's not about whether it's enough to change the world. And I think that's some of the trap that we put ourselves in. It's like, well, what one person can't really make a difference. There's an analogy that people use sometimes where they'll have these fish that had fallen onto the shore, and this person's going back and throwing the fish in, and there's thousands of fish on the shore, and someone will say, "Why are you doing that? There's no way."
You're talking about the starfish.
The starfish. That's
That's
right.
it, yeah.
It's a starfish.
There's a
And
starfish on the sea. The guy's down there. He's throwing them
he's
in.
throwing them
This
in,
other guy comes up and said, "Look, there's 1,000 of them there. You're not making any difference."
and he says it matters to the one I throw back in. And that's the focus for me, at least. It's not about whether you can change everybody. It's just, can you make one?
Did you see the new movie out? What's the name of it? It's a true story about a little Indian boy.
The lion.
The lion. He gets on a train,
Lion.
ends up 1,200 miles or 1,600 calories to Lion, Lion, right?
That's right.
Yeah, Lion.
Oh yeah, I
ends
heard
up
about that.
1,600 kilometers away, or kilometers, excuse me, and 12,000 miles, 1,200 miles, excuse me. And he ends up in Calcutta. Well, he's just a little 4 year old, so he doesn't remember where he came from. So he's in the Calcutta, in the what do you call it, the poverty-stricken areas, and just foraging for food and stuff. And well, he gets caught by the authorities, and they put him into an orphanage, and he gets adopted by this family in Australia. Well, all of a sudden, the next scene is he wakes up and he's down by they live near the ocean, and he's on the ocean. He grows up as a handsome young man, and can you imagine going from that to that?
Yeah.
But he wants to find his way back home. He wants to find his way back home. And what was the point of me bringing this up?
I don't know, but one of the things that I'll point out with that is it's another big life lesson that I have tried to inspire people to remember, that they often think about the thing around the corner that they don't see coming. We spend so much of our life worrying about tomorrow, and we imagine all these nightmares. We imagine all these horrible things.
Yeah.
But the reality is sometimes there's good things that happen out of nowhere that we would never expect, even from bad circumstances, like that kid who, oh, now my life is over. I'm in the slums. I don't know how to get back home, thinking their life is over, and then they end up getting adopted on the beach and with the Australian family.
No.
It's like you never know what tomorrow has
I
in
had a
store for you.
mosquito come into my house last
Yeah.
night. Now, I had a mosquito last week too. Well, that thing stopped bothering me, probably died. Now, what would you imagine this? Imagine you have a lifetime of a week. That's all you're ever going to have, mosquito. Or how about a common housefly? What are they, a day? I don't know. Some things are a day. But anyway, what would you do if you only had one day to live? What would you do if you only had 1 week to live? So many people, and I worry at the moment of death, should we have a moment of clarity? Am I going to realize, oh my word, I just didn't live?
Yeah.
And they say it's the number one regret. Like I want to paint. I need to bring an easel in here and come in here at night and paint. It's just like whatever.
And so many people do not pursue it. They don't want the risk.
Well, like right now, I'd like to be in the motion picture industry. What if I give up my radio show and I give up my house? What if I end up foraging for food over in and
something like that? But he had cancer, and he wrote the song Clouds. Have you heard the story?
I looked to the clouds.
No, not that one. No, it's a different song.
Can you find it real
Yeah,
quick?
I can find it. I actually got it right here.
Oh, go ahead and hold it up to the mic.
Yeah, let me tell you the backstory
Okay,
of this a little bit. Okay, so this kid, he has cancer, and he's basically, he knows he's going to die, but he wants to be a songwriter, so he starts writing his songs, and this is one of the songs that he wrote, and it went viral to the point where it was the #1 song on iTunes.
No.
And it got noticed by a lot of celebrities. So without his knowledge, a bunch of celebrities did a video of them all singing his song.
Oh.
And it was all these super famous people singing this song of this kid with cancer. And just, what do they call it when it's like a montage of all the things?
Yeah.
So here's the song.
Actually, hold it right up again.
Because the view's a little nicer up here. My dear, it won't be long now. It won't be long now. When we get back on land, I'll never get my chance. We live, and it lives right out my hands. And maybe someday we'll take a little ride. Oh, up, and everything will be just fine. We'll go up, and nicer up here, my dear. It won't be long now. It won't be long now. If only I had a little bit more time. If only I had a little bit more time with you. We could go up, and then take a little ride. We'll sit there holding hands and everything will be just right. Maybe someday I'll see you again. We'll float up in the clouds and we'll never see the end. We'll go up, but I'll fly a little higher. Go up in the clouds because the view's a little nicer up here. My dear, it won't be long now. It won't be long now.
Wow.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
And he changed, so many differences, and he inspired so many people. And he'd always talk about take advantage of every day because you never know when's your last.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
You know, go have a picnic today. You know, go enjoy today. We gotta take a break. We'll be back.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
I couldn't understand the words, but
Oh, you couldn't. I'm sorry.
it's all right.
I'll go up, 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 where the view's a little nicer. Go up in the sky because, where is it? Up in the clouds. Where's the view is so much higher. Up. I have it on iTunes because I bought it. I was like, that song's awesome. I forgot I had that. Make the views a little nicer, that's all.
Hold on. Let's play. Did he die?
Yeah, he did.
This
Wow.
is him singing?
It's him singing, yeah.
Mhm.
So what's the name of it?
Clouds. And one of the things that was interesting is when the celebrities did the videos of them all, it was lip syncing it. They wanted to keep his voice,
Oh,
Yeah.
That's his iTunes.
Oh, goodness.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. And he was like, I don't know, 16 years old or something like that when he wrote that song.
Zach?
Zach, S-O-B-I.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah.
99 cents.
Somber, raw.
What's the money going to now, I wonder?
That's a good question. I think I heard something about cancer research.
Because the view's a little nicer up here. My dear, it won't be long now. It won't be long now. If only I had a little bit more time.
Clouds, Newton, Faulkner? No.
If only
I'm trying to find the video.
Oh, the celebrities?
Oh, it's probably on YouTube. Us. Met guy.
Zach, such a beautiful song. This is for you.
Oh, so.
Shane didn't get the radio sales in, so I put it in the next break.
Oh, nice.
He said 4 times a day. You look dapper today. Did you get a haircut?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't remember when I last got a haircut, but I don't think it was recently.
You guys get ashes?
On Ash Wednesday, what is that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I didn't know if your church did.
Yeah, we do a service with Ash Wednesday, something like that.
I don't know these famous people. I don't know most of them.
Oh yeah?
I don't know any of them.
Well, you know the first one, right?
That's all.
Yeah.
Who are these other people?
A lot of them are the newer stars. Well, you know that guy, the last guy on the thing was the guy who plays, he's Bradley Cooper.
Bradley
You
Cooper.
don't know Bradley Cooper?
And what?
Oh, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Him I know.
And that guy's from The Office.
A little more still alive.
No, he passed away a while ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Must be a tough job consoling people that lost a loved one.
It is. But you gotta just give them time, let them process, and just be there for them. It's emotionally difficult, but as long as you remember your job is just to be there for them.
Hey, you gotta take these. How are we gonna do this?
The group is their friends, by the way.
Rhett, how was the last segment Saturday? Was it good about Kirchman? Was it good?
My name is Rich at Dallas. I've been a doubter before, but I'm no longer that. And this happened to me in 2005, so that was 6 years ago. And so how it came about was that I was on my way to Monterey. I go up there every year for the historic car races. While I stopped at the stoplight, I had a pain that started in my jaw, right in the mandibular area, went down my jawbone, down my carotid artery.
No, we can't listen. Now we gotta get back on there. Going up, up, up.
Isn't that a beautiful song?
Yeah, really, I like it.
Yeah. Me too. I'll just text you a video that goes into a story.
Cool. I'd like to.
I think he got married.
Really?
Yeah, there's a girl, his girlfriend, wanted to get married because she knew he was going to pass away. I might be remembering that wrong, but.
Our friend Bixby does.
Yeah.
What? Let me see. What? What does Bixby do?
The homeless camp.
Living in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And he's got a cat. That cat means so much to him.
One of those secret restaurants, the CJ Cat is the warm and friendly restaurant at the Vero Beach Regional Airport. The only thing they offer
What do you want to talk about?
you are their prime
It's up to you.
restaurant, serving you from morning to night. That's right.
We talk about politics,
Glass in the morning,
religion, movies, music.
hamburgers, patty melts, and a host of the usual luncheon offerings served in a not so usual way. CJ
We could talk about Ivanka Trump thing with the whole clothes store thing.
I'm pleased he's getting rid of some people.
Is he?
Yeah, I feel very strongly about that. You know. Mhm.
Well, I do think Trump is obviously his motto was "You're fired." So I think that he definitely will get rid of people that are doing a bad job.
I agree with that. Yeah.
That's one thing about Trump that I think is good. I mean, he might give people a shot, but if they're not performing.
His office is located just south of the Pilgrim Beach Market, 4755 North Acre Lane, or his website, plainsdentalparts.com, or just give him a call, 231-6004. That's 231-6004. So how can you bring a connectomy from a basic tube to dental implants?
Now, I'm less of a music guy than you are, but there are those songs that just hit me.
In the open, stand by.
All right. All righty, right, mate. Here's another beautiful day in paradise. How you doing there, mates? Everything okay? Hope so. Got Richard in here today. Richard Damsick.
I could do an accent, but I don't think I'd try an Australian. Is that Australian?
I didn't know. I was thinking it was British.
Oh, you could do
But
it.
maybe
You
it
could do
was
a
Australian.
British accent.
British accent, huh? So
Yeah.
no,
Well, the thing is with a British accent, the hard
Oh.
part is
wow.
there's so many different styles of British
Right.
from different centuries.
We're a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
The lower clap, you know.
Yeah.
We've
You
got
got
some people like that in
Cockney.
town here, you know.
Yeah. And then if you go back to old kings, British. I mean, there's like the Monty Python. There was some where they're like not even speaking. It was just kind of like. Just go do it, and the article, and it was hilarious. But that is it's a good British accent. Is it an accurate British accent? Of course not. It's maybe back in the day they used to speak a little more like that. But it's think about American.
Have you been to Britain yet? Have you been to England?
No.
Has Kate?
Didn't get a chance.
Well, she'd go. She'd be very well there in the theater district and all over. They're always way ahead of us. I mean, they're always wearing wacky pinky hair and
that's true.
I mean, they're way ahead with all this stuff. They're very on the odd side. They're not afraid. I think it's in reaction to the conservative. I remember when I got off the tube for the first time in London, and I saw a man like this. He's got his hat, he's got his tea, and he's got his hat, and he's got his tie, and he's got his jacket on, and I could just see him just walking into a wall because he's so stoic.
Yeah.
It's stupidly stoic. And I think what it is the response is the rebellion that takes place is in rebellion to that stodgy old stoicism,
Stuffiness.
Never in the course of the and so few, not so much, not so many.
I forswear shall
Now, bring me my cigar and my cup of brandy.
We had our country and everything was on a first name basis. We say, hi, I'm Beverly, my husband is George. And this English couple came
You
in.
talking about when you had your end up in Vermont?
Yeah. And this couple came in and we said, okay, what are your first names? And they went, ooh. And they said, Richard and Evelyn. And they didn't like giving their first names.
Oh, interesting.
But when they went in the living room and they talked to everybody was on a first name basis. They were fine with it, but they were very stodgy at first.
Well, and there's two sides to that coin. As I get older, I've realized when you dress up, unlike the young people that dress up to be the center of attention, when you're older, you dress up to honor others. In other words, let's say I had a speaking engagement in town, which I did. And I would find out when I got there, everybody showed up in flip-flops and shorts. That was a antique car collectors.
Okay.
And you get some pretty, the man who was who spoke there after me was worth $300 million. A friend of mine who happened to sell the Hornets, a white shirt, and I don't think I wore a tie, my navy blue blazer. And no one said a thing about it. Remember this, you can show up to a pool party in a tuxedo, and people look at you, oh, geez, she's overdressed, but you certainly won't be kicked out. Well, can we get you a table? Would you like to sit down and join us? Or
Yeah.
okay, but wear a bathing suit to a black tie event to draw attention to me.
Yeah.
Is to say, I honor you, and if you give honor, then perhaps you get honor.
I could see the Marx Brothers coming to a tuxedo
love
party
that.
in
Wow.
swimsuits.
They
would
wore
do
their
that.
tuxedos, right?
They went to a church one time, and whenever the priest said to stand up, they sat down, and whenever the priest said to stand up or sit
In
down,
real
they
life?
stood up. Yeah, they really did that. They would do practical jokes in real life all the time.
He
Throw down
was a
stuff.
genius. Hey, let's go someplace and be alone. You go that way, I'll go this way.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shot an elephant in my pajamas the other day. How he got in my pajamas, I'll never know.
that's right.
It's just seeing that inverted. There's a real gift of seeing things inverted. You're a preacher. You got your what do you call it thing on today?
My dog collar.
Yeah. And your what? Your dog
collar.
And
Clergy collar.
but I remember it took a very wealthy individual friend of mine, and he was sitting there behind his desk. He was the Donald Trump of Albany, New York, and he said, Rhett, money's not my sin. Money's not my. Of course, he had plenty of it.
Sure.
He said, power was his sin.
Mm-hmm. I think that's true of a lot of wealthy people.
Power? What do they want power
You know,
for?
it's funny. I never understood. Coming from a lower middle class family, I never understood why wealthy people kept trying to get more money when they were at the point where they could buy basically anything they wanted. And then it finally dawned on me when I was talking to someone who was very, very wealthy, and they said, my father raised me with this principle. They said, get as much money as you can, because money controls people. And if you control the most people, you win. And he said, I know that's not right, but that's how I was.
Control. The thing is, there is no power. It all goes back in the pot the moment you die. There's no power, and God has power anyway.
Yeah.
Try that power that you have with $1 billion, and try getting cancer and trying to buy your way out of cancer. You can't. How about that guy that he was drinking and hit that person? He's a billionaire down in Southern Florida. Remember?
Yeah.
Tried to get out of it. He's in jail. He's in jail for the rest of his life. Murder.
There's something alcoholics call a moment of clarity.
Yeah.
And it's the moment where you realize that your illusion of control is an illusion. And you give up that lack of trying to control, or the ability to control, and then you give it to God, and that's where
and
your
a
life
miracle
turns
happens.
around.
I've been there myself. Anthony Robbins in his book, if you want, I'll loan you the book. I don't normally buy Anthony Robbins books.
Yeah.
Like everybody else, I've kind of ridden on the shoulders of everybody else who buys the CDs. And I went to see him live, because I was invited there to do interviews and stuff. But anyway, so I bought this book a couple of years ago. There was this true story. In 2008, this billionaire was worth $4 billion over in England.
Mm-hmm.
And through circumstances of the economy, he lost $1 billion.
Yeah.
He lost $1 billion. He was trying to get money from a bank or something, because in those circles, so you got to leverage money. You may be worth $1 billion. Doesn't mean you have it cash, So I don't know, whatever it is that's done in those business guys. And they spend their time leveraging money. So anyway, he tried to get this loan, and he didn't think he was going to get the loan from the bank. He lost $1 billion. He had $4 billion. Now he only had $3 billion. So he goes to the train station and stands in front of the 805 in the morning, and it gets killed by the train on purpose, commits suicide.
Yeah.
And by the way, 2 weeks later, the loan came through. He would have had the loan, by the way.
Yeah.
But anyway, he felt so ashamed that he had $4 billion, but because he lost $1 billion. So it proves to you in a situation, because I found myself saying, hey, there are people that would pay with the right arm to have the problems I have.
Yeah. And
Problems you have, folks.
one of the
You know?
hard things I think about wealth, and we all have struggles. We all
Mhm.
have our weaknesses. We
Mhm.
all have the things we do that were wrong.
Yeah.
The hard thing with wealth is I think that it's harder for some people who are very wealthy and leaning on their wealth. Not everyone who's wealthy leans on their wealth in their life,
No.
but those who have that love for money or love for control and power, it's hard for them to have a moment of clarity because they have so much to give them this illusion of the people, talk about them. See, people talk to them like they really respect them and love them. From their behind their back, it's a different story, but they start to believe the illusion. They start to believe it.
Last night I was with somebody, and she's been 35 years in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
Ekes out a living, and she said she was driving back from Chicago with her son, and they're pretty movers and shakers, and they're pretty well off. And here she's had this little life with 2 adopted kids. She adopted, and so she went from a managerial position just to something else she did in this famous restaurant in this area. And she said they're driving along and there's silence. And her son says, you may not have a lot of money, Mom, but you're the wealthiest in your family.
Mm.
Where'd that come from?
Mm.
You may not have a lot of money, Mom, but you're the wealthiest in your family.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
and I understand that because I have a fear of having too much dough because you see people that inherit money and it ruins their lives. There's a meat company, nationally famous, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but he inherited this, and he drives around this town, Vero Beach, in his Rolls Royce and his Bentley. He's on something. I don't know what. I mean, it seems like he's on something.
Mm-hmm.
And since I'm not mentioning names, I guess I'm okay and I'm safe because who knows what kind of a character. Actually, I've spoken to him. He seems like he's a sweetheart, but he's always, snookered
Mm.
and not having I don't see he's having a very good life at all. I mean, we'll drive around your Rolls Royce, but you're snookered all the time. And it's like, so you have to be very careful because look what happens to lottery winners.
Yeah.
All of a sudden that, I don't know what the switch is. Look at the people up here. Before you came to town, Bent Pine, they had a group of people up there that most of them won 900,000, some won 1.2 million, depending on what they put into the pot.
Mm.
It was on the Today Show and everything, right out west of town at Bent Pine Club, beautiful club up there. Well, I remember Frank Dealey, my late friend Frank Dealey. He owned Frank's Place for Ribs, and it was very popular, So with the people on the beach say, well, when we want to slum it, we either go to Mr. Manchester or we go to Frank's Place for Ribs. And there's a little hole in the wall. It's right where Scampy just moved from, right across from the patio. And so anyway, this person, won $1 million, this couple.
Yeah.
So they came in and they bought it from him. And he was supposed to stick around for 6 months and teach them. And after a couple of weeks, says, that's okay, we don't need you. We don't need you. Okay. I mean, this is the arrogance.
Mm-hmm.
Not having the humility to know that they didn't know.
Yeah.
And so, okay, you don't have to come around anymore. We know what we're doing.
Yeah.
They'd never been in the restaurant business, and they lost
Everything.
their money.
Yeah.
And then a few of the other couples up there that are humble and modest or individuals, they kept coming to work and kept riding their Volkswagen or the little smart car and didn't go live an extravagant life.
Yeah.
And invested the money.
Yeah.
And so if you're making $40,000 a year as a server, or 50, whatever it might be, and you have $1 million in the bank, back then at least the 5%, you're going to make 50,000 a year. Right now, maybe you're making, maybe an additional 20 or 30,000, but whatever. You get my drift. That live off of that, but don't eat the goose that lays the golden egg.
Yeah.
But just shows you how money can really screw with people.
Yeah. It really can, and it can distance people from other people.
Well, look, there was a lady in here recently, and I never quite understood this, but it was a real another punctuation in my life, that up on the greens, something on the green. It's in Central Park, Tavern on the Green. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So and he also owned the Russian Tea Club. I've been to both of them in New York City. Just lovely places. But anyway, the man who inherited his wealth, he's the one that owns those. Well, anyway, they say he was a bastard, not a nice guy, always angry at people, always mean. And she said, underneath it, he was a nice guy, but I think he was always disturbed of who was really his friend.
Yeah.
And suddenly I had clarity and understood I could see that. I could see you being angry because you're lashing out because, you don't really know who's there for you.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a horrible thing.
It is.
Because I think the best thing you could do, like Beverly,
Yes.
you were dating a guy who didn't show up for the first few times. He had an old rickety car, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because he didn't want her to know that he had money.
Right.
That you wanted to go date him because of who he was, not because of what he had.
Exactly.
What did he drive in? What was the old rickety car?
Oh, yeah, an old rickety car. I think it was an old Honda. Because I just didn't think he had any money.
Now, this wasn't the same doctor that dated you.
No.
Let's tell the doctor story. That's important because whenever I'm going to like the Chart House down in West Palm, I think of you for some reason because you'd have the valet parking.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened this night?
Well, he was so.
No, but set it up that you were all dressed up, got your hair done.
All dressed up, going to his lovely high-class restaurant.
Went to the beauty parlor that day.
I was all set to have a wonderful time, and we pulled up, and he said to me, "I'm not using valet parking. I'm not tipping him." So he parked way at the end of the parking lot, and it was raining. I couldn't believe this man because of a few dollars. So it's so funny how.
What happened to you that night? You got drenched.
Yeah, it was all.
Tell
very,
the story,
got
A
wet.
to Z.
Yes, yeah. You always like the complete story, and I
Yes.
don't blame you.
Yeah,
But
well,
anyway.
the point is, here's this lovely lady he's dating, and then he also, what you were dating for, he asked you to marry him. She would be set financially today had she married him because he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, what did he do? He said, like, what did he say about the living room? I had a friend of mine who was a famous lawyer.
Yeah.
We flew in from upstate New York and Connecticut years ago, and he'd have me stay at his place in Boca. And I got up in the morning one morning, I'm in his living room. Oh no, we don't use that room.
I know.
What are you saving it for? The Pope?
Yeah.
Okay, we don't use that room. I said, what is it, a museum? And he thought I was a real smartass for saying it, but
No, it's true. The doctor, he wouldn't let me read the newspaper in the living room. He thought the newsprint would get on the furniture. I mean, it was just amazing. But I guess it goes back.
she broke up with him because of that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She didn't, if she'd married him, and bit her tongue for a while, she'd
I don't
have
think
all
it would
those.
have been worth it. I don't
But I
think
tell
it
you
would have
what,
been worth it.
he's dead.
Yeah.
What the hell is this $5 to the valet? Give it away today.
Yeah.
Give it to the valet person. Give it to the waitress. And how about why don't you throw some to the water boy? I'm going to tell you a story that happened to me with a water boy. Some people may have heard this, some people may not. So I'm out at Gaetano's out at the mall years ago, and well, anyway, so I used to dine out there, and they had water boys, and they had whatever it is, the waitresses. Anyway, now I don't want to tell the story about out there. I want to come back to now. So I'm over on the beach, and all of a sudden there's this, this 22-year-old kid, I'd say 23. He's wearing a tie and a tuxedo white shirt, whatever. He's waiting on tables in this nice restaurant. And he said, "Oh, Mr. Palmer, how are you?" He says, "You don't remember me, but when I was 14, I was a water boy, and you snuck a $5 bill into my hand." And, remembered me for that, encouraged him, whatever. And I thought, what a deal. For $5, I bought a place in a boy's heart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
is that a deal? People go out. And the other day, recently I did something too. I was at Dunkin' Donuts, and this lady came in. Even though she was well-to-do, she'd been getting ice cream to the right, and I was getting my iced coffee. And she came up, and I thought, well, do I go first because I'm already in line? But she wants, and I said, listen, go ahead. I'll take care of you today. Pay it forward. I'm taking care of your ice cream today. So, and then I saw her go out the door, and then I noticed she drove off in a really fancy white car, nice new white car. And I thought, I've always withheld money from wealthy people.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, she needs encouragement too. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if she had a lot of money. You just left her. She had a better day because somebody cared enough to pay it
right.
forward. Doesn't necessarily mean. Tell your story. How much time do we have? Oh, well, forget the ads. Forget the ads this half hour. Because I want him to, this is a gift to my listeners. Tell the story of what you told in church yesterday about, you know, you and your wife are on the way to the airport and you're having an argument with each other. You're not in a good mood.
Yeah, so we were late to the airport, and you know how sometimes
You got
you
3
bicker
minutes.
with someone and you're arguing. So we'd argue back and forth. And at a certain point, we're getting mad and intense, and we're trying to get to the airport. And we're, of course, taking the toll booth, and I'm too cheap to pay for the Sun Pass. So we're.
They're only $5 now, but go ahead. I'll buy you one.
All right, I'll take it.
Yeah.
So the point is, we have to pull over to the toll booth, and this person speeds ahead of us and cuts us off. And it's obvious that they cut us off, and we're angry. And I'm, lifting my fist up, and I'm a pastor, so my middle finger wasn't up, but in my head it was, and I was thinking, I can't believe these people. And I look, and on their car they have one of those fishes, those little fishes.
That declares you're a Christian.
That means that you're a Christian.
And here's this Christian guy.
I'm thinking, they
Rude.
call themselves a Christian, and Cade and I now are both just getting angry at this person.
Now you have unity because the two of you are angry at the same thing.
Exactly. So we pull up to the toll booth, and we're all steaming. We got to get up my money and everything. And the toll booth guy says, "Oh no, you don't have to pay." And I go, "Why not?" "Oh well, because the couple ahead of you, they wanted to pay for you, and they wanted to tell you God bless."
Because they saw your
Yeah, we
license plate,
figured
which
out
said what?
afterwards that because my license plate said JC is love, they
Jesus is
wanted to
love.
bless me, and they saw that, so they sped ahead, cut me off to pay for my toll booth.
Yeah.
And at that point, it changed our entire trip. Like, our entire trip was so much better because we now had a different attitude.
I had the same thing happen in Massachusetts a year and a half ago. This little black girl goes zinging by me in a little car.
Mhm.
I mean, really fast. I'm coming up on the toll booth. She gets in front of me, goes through, and they said, "Oh, the little gal up there, she paid for you."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
And I could have paid my own thing, but look, I'm reciting the story now.
Yep.
You're reciting your story.
That's right.
And we just took that class in happiness over the weekend, right, Beverly?
Yes.
And it said they did a study with this one group, and the one group, and they were to do a certain examination, and if they passed it, they were all going to be paid, like $100 each. And then there was another group, and they were happy, but there was another group, and if they took the examination pass, they were given $100, but it would be given to somebody in need.
Yeah.
Who was happier? The people that gave it away. It is more blessed to give than
That's
to
right.
receive.
Absolutely.
You know?
Mhm.
So just remember, someone somewhere needs your random act of kindness. As it's written, give unto others. Your light will rise out of the darkness like the noonday sun.
Mhm.
Yes. Beautiful.
Beautiful. We'll be back, folks.
Great. Are we finished?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I have found that people who have been given money or inherited, they have a fear of losing it
Yeah.
because they've never worked for money.
Yeah.
When you work for it, you watch every penny.
Yeah. And
Well, no, I disagree with you. There are people that with inherited wealth, and their only value is money, and that's why they are so cheap.
Yes.
Because their whole self confidence is based on the money. What a terrible way to go through life. I mean, phew.
I'm very pleased that my parents didn't emphasize money. Really.
We're just trying to keep you awake in there, boy.
Well, yeah, you had 20 seconds of dead air until I filled with music. When I say 30 seconds, you got 30 seconds.
He's firm.
But I covered for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, take a look at me for a second, right? This means 30. That's 30. Then this means like 20. And this 10, and then 10, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. And I'll watch for. Yeah. And then, but then after that, I need you to let me know when it's 20 and when it's 10, and then I'll fill it up with something. I'll do a live read.
Okay.
What happens is, see, I saw that 30, or I saw the 1 minute, and then I wasn't sure how much longer I really had, so I thought better to leave early than to leave late. You know what I mean? Be cut off.
That's okay.
That's interesting.
We do not want to say on the air about any travel plans.
Right.
Always remember that.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
Yeah.
Barbara was worried somebody might
Is she
say
going with you? You're going by
I don't want to talk about it in this room. We're on air. We're on TV right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Magnesium. I didn't know that. I find that magnesium helps you sleep, helps you
Involving
digest.
more than 1 million people across 9 countries.
Does this go to Barbara, I take it? What am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna take it back or leave it here or,
I don't know. I guess I need to take it to her.
okay, you got a book in the mail too, so I'll put that on
Oh,
your,
let me see what it is.
I didn't open it.
Oh, you didn't?
Yep. We're coming into spots and I believe the Reverend's gonna be with you, right?
Yep.
Okay, here's the book.
Thank you.
Guess what?
Dexter lives in the woods like that.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it?
No, I didn't. I didn't know that. I saw this for sale in the bookstore. That's right. The top selling book. Watch me. This is how you book people. He's on the bestseller list right now. I saw the book, got the information in the back, but asked for a review copy, got a review copy, and sent him a thing saying I'd like to interview him. This is for sale right now at the bookstore for $25, brand new.
Hi, you reached Leah Johansson in Simon & Schuster Publicity. I'm away from my desk or on the other line, so please leave me a message and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you.
Hi, Leah Johansson. How are you? This is Rhett Palmer from the Florida Show. Thank you very much for getting Hugh Hewitt's book, The Fourth Way, right out to me. I'm
Open is next.
I'd like to interview him, if at all possible, this week. I have openings on Wednesday morning and Thursday. No, I'm out of town on Thursday. Tuesday and Wednesday morning, excuse me, on the east coast of Florida. Otherwise, we can wait till next week. I will be back the following Tuesday. My number is 772-473-7777. We're live. We do interviews from 8 to 10:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Here we go.
23 years on the air. I don't know what else you want to know about Rhett Palmer. 772-473-7777.
Right.
It's another beautiful day in paradise. And how are you doing? Welcome to our show. Of course, we have in here Pastor Richard Demsick. How are you?
Doing great.
How are you, Beverly Osler?
Doing well, thank you.
And one of my favorite people, it's Kimmy. Let's have a round of applause for Kimmy from Joey's Seafood Shack.
Hi, Rhett.
I thought maybe you forgot about us.
I would never.
Yeah, now your eyes are a little bloodshot.
Yeah,
Why? You been swimming?
no.
You look like you just got out of the shower.
I was on my Peloton bike for an
Oh,
hour.
you were.
15
It
and a
shows.
half miles.
And yet your face is nice and red.
Yeah,
You know that feeling you get? You can only get, that's one thing. We took this course on happiness the other day. So the only time you get the feeling of that happiness from working out is from working out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I truly believe, when you exercise, I actually feel like the oxygen in me, and I'm actually thinking sharper when I want to, afterwards I want to do. Do you find that true?
I do. I have to do it to live. I have fibromyalgia, so I ride every day.
I don't know what fibromyalgia is. I have an idea that it's very painful in the
Soft
intestines.
tissue arthritis. It's like
It's
like an
everywhere.
arthritis that's in your joints.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to work out.
It loosens everything because I get like that at night, stiff.
Oh.
It's terrible.
Well,
but it's better than other things, so
yeah,
I'll take it.
She proves that body needs to be moving.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She reminds me of my cousin. They talk almost verse. I feel like I got my cousin here.
Oh, that's nice.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And of course, they own Joey's Seafood Shack. Once you've been there, you'll go back to Joey's Seafood Shack. Now, Beverly and I were over there for lunch recently. We got to take you for lunch over there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm talking like the cod. I'm obsessed with their
Like
cod.
that's the only thing we have is cod.
I never. Oh, you want to come too? Okay. You want me to take you to lunch today?
Bring a big crowd, please.
Yeah, we'll take you to lunch. You want to go? Are they open today for lunch?
Every day.
Yeah, every
Sunday.
day. They're only open for dinners though, Fridays and Saturdays.
Correct.
And you have to make reservations because the word is out on the barrier island, and when that island fills up, so does Joey's Seafood Shack.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Sure.
You know what?
You're a
You remember
cod
that?
guy?
Huh?
You're a cod guy? Is that your thing?
Well, I never was till I went to Joey's Seafood. I don't know how I got into one day. Look, so she makes me pan fried cod, or Joey does, whatever. Anyway,
We both do.
I never had such. I don't know what they do to it. Of course, last week Beverly and I went because I'm doing this. I'm doing a healthier lifestyle. We had it broiled, and broiled was very good with a little blanc, a little butter, and no, there's no
Garlic.
cream sauce, just butter and garlic,
white wine, and breadcrumbs.
and that's acceptable. Yeah, except for the breadcrumb, but there wasn't that many. It wasn't heavily.
No, it's just a dribble.
But I ought to shut up about it because I'll get everybody over there.
Be good.
Enjoying the cod and go. I'll go in there and Joey will say, sorry. One time I went in there, they were out of it now. They knew that I'd be upset. So somebody back there made me grouper. And I came to the dad and said, this ain't cod. Do you remember that?
Yep.
A couple of years ago?
Yeah.
I think it might have been that new little guy working with you.
Kixel.
What is he all about?
He used to work at Bachi
Oh,
for a
really?
long time, and he worked for us.
The Bocce out west of town or the
No,
one that's on 14th?
14th Avenue. And he was working for us in the evenings, just the evenings. And one day he just came in and he said, I want to work for you full time. For the longest time we were doing it all by ourselves, and now we can almost have a staff, at least one or two full time.
You know what amazes me about your industry is that the other night I was out to see Jay Cannon's, and there was a young man who I've known for years, and we were leaving, the lights were going out, it's dark at night, and he's leaving on a bicycle, and I'm thinking, I don't know what's happened in his life, but why is this now that he's like 30, why is he still riding a bicycle? And maybe just because he wanted the exercise, maybe not, but I've noticed that, and then Barbara said something about how that industry does attract a lot of people that are, let's put it this way, in the mode of change. In other words, they come and go. It's highly labor intensive, I guess,
Yeah.
in the industry.
Yeah. Or they do want to come and they stay, but they've had hardship. So we've helped a lot of people over the years. But with that, we have a lot of problems in our industry because.
Well, everybody's having a problem. I know people in the air conditioning business right now that could do 10 times more than they're doing, but they can't find the technicians to hire.
The roofers too.
I mean, over the past year, you can ask Beverly. I mean, we figured out in the past year, I hired a number of people that ended up in prison. I'm not allowed to hire any, and I'm talking
Mhm.
3 or 4, and
Yeah.
6 over the past few years. 6 of them.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, of course, I am the type of guy that I always want to take in the downtrodden.
Yeah.
Sure.
That sounds
You know, if there was a
beautiful.
nerd in school who didn't know enough to blow his nose, whatever, you know, Gary Bernstein, all right, I'm going to be nice to him because nobody else is nice. Even the teacher kicked his briefcase down. He said, "What do you have that for? You don't even use it." You know, I was mean to him. And so I befriended Gary Bernstein, you know, I'm not that kind of guy. To this day, I have to be careful because I take in these wayward souls.
We
And,
got
you know,
robbed twice, so
you got robbed twice.
Once the girl, she's washing dishes, and I'm trying to help her because she's got 2 little kids and
She robbed you.
bad husband. She told me, you know, abusive and everything, and I'm like, I'll help you. I bought her toys. I gave her half my garage clothes.
She robbed you?
She wore these big boots one day, and I'm like, why is she wearing these? What's with the outfit? You know, I'm like, what's with the outfit? Like $800 out of our money bag, which was
That's
all
funny.
our cash.
So help me God. This
Oh.
weekend, I was talking to a friend of mine, and she owns a restaurant. And last week, she knows the girl one day. They have it on video, and she's going to be going to jail. They got her last week. She stole $800 that one day, putting it into her bra and stuff. They caught her. Do they not think there's video cameras? And here's the reprehensible thing. And we got the pastor in here today, okay? So here's the deal. It says in the scriptures, if you do evil to someone who's done you good, the curse will never leave your household.
Well,
And,
it's
you know,
terrible.
here
She
you
told
took
me she
her
was
in.
entitled because I had too much.
Oh.
She said, you've got
my
so
gosh.
much, and we were still struggling ourselves. You
But
know,
you know, that's just
People think because you go on vacation, you know, people save. People who are
Right.
hardworking like you and I, we save our money, then we can afford to go on vacation. Doesn't necessarily mean we're super rich.
correct.
It's just justification. It's amazing what we can use for justification to do things when we know they're wrong. We find some excuse. They don't, I think, even really believe that. They're just telling themselves that so they feel better about it. Oh, I'm doing some moral right. Well,
Right.
if it's a moral right, then why aren't you giving it to charity? Why aren't you giving it to you know, non-for-profits that are making a difference in
Well,
lives?
how about this? I
of
bought a
people?
car, for a used car,
Yeah.
for a number of thousands of dollars. So I posted on Facebook, somebody wanted a car. I think it was Steve Swartz was looking for one for his friends.
Mhm.
And so I posted it $500 more than what I paid for it. And the person who had sold it to me, this female, goes, "Classy, Rhett, selling it for $500 more than you paid for it." And I so wrote back to her. I said, and actually I was irritated. I did something I shouldn't do. I said, I said that was so I could negotiate, stupid.
That's not bad.
And then, you
None of our
know,
business anyway.
no. And then she said, "I blocked you." I said, "It's so I just want," she emailed me. I said, "Just want you to know I had already blocked you."
Good.
And I'm just trying to take in the house. What is there something wrong? First of all, if I could get, let me tell you, if I sold you my antique car right now for $10,000,
Right.
and next week you said, "Well, this guy came in, we had it outside, and he offered Joey 25, 25, good for you."
Yeah.
Wow, I wish I'd held on to myself for that, but I'm glad for you. I got my 10 grand. That's what I asked for.
A lot of
And-
people
am
are
I
not
right?
happy for you these days.
It's amazing. The jealousy, because and the thing is, I wasn't actually asking anymore. I just raised it $500 more so I could come down. Because if you want a certain price today, everybody wants to negotiate. In life, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. So you got to put it up so you can put it down.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that Beverly and I were talking about, we actually, we're talking about judgment and how it's really important to try to find another scenario. You know, you think, oh, that person's a jerk. Oh, because of this. It's really helpful to think, okay, what would be another reason? And actually, the illustration that you had me share earlier about me yelling at the person in front of me that pulled ahead because I thought they were just being selfish is a good example. Or I thought of no other scenario at the time than
This person with a Christian marker on their car zoomed in front of he and his wife going into the pay toll pay or whatever, toll booth. And they were mad, and then the person drove off, and then they came in to pay their toll, and the man says, "No, you don't have to pay today." Why? That lady, those couple in front of you, they just paid forward to you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So here they were being nice.
Yeah, exactly. It was super nice. And that
made you think for a
made
minute.
me think. And so from then on, I've been trying to use that exercise in empathy. If someone does something that angers you, try to think of a justified reason that they
And
might
you
have done
also never know why somebody's acting irritable.
Yeah.
Because, like sometimes I'll get a look. You have a lot of people like me, and I love the people. I love you all. But there are times when you walk out and you can just see, like, oh, there's Rhett Palmer. He thinks he's better because he's got a raise or he's on billboards. And I'm going, I could just see the disdain, the contempt in the guy's eyes, walking in the Publix. And I'm walking out, I'm going, if he only knew where I'm at psychologically today, he'd put his arm around me and probably give me a hug.
Yeah.
You never know what people are going through.
I just know that lots of times if there's anger, they're hurting.
Yeah.
And I try to figure out why
Anger
are they
is hurt or fear talking.
Yeah.
So if you see Rhett, go and give him a hug.
Oh, that's so nice.
Let's all do that together. Go, oh. But give somebody a hug because you never know what. Did you ever see that video? It was on YouTube a few years ago.
That's not exactly.
Yeah, that's not exactly what we're looking for, Mr. B. But thank you for trying. He's trying to participate.
I really appreciate it. We'll give Mr. B a hug and lunch.
I think you better give him lunches, right?
Yeah. So you want to go to lunch today? Okay. Is your mic on? Okay. You can hear him?
Regarding hugs, they're finding out that men are hugging more now than they ever used to.
Good for them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
It was on the news the other night.
It was on 60 Minutes.
And and I didn't have a dad growing up, so I never had contact with males. I've always hugged beneficial with women. Not that I'm not proud of it, but it is nice to be able to do. Now I'm looking forward to giving somebody very special in my life a hug who I've never even met. Just got word through the 23andMe that I have a nephew. My brother drowned on 911. Apparently, he had a relationship, I know, with a Linda Leo years ago in upstate New York. Well, now all of a sudden, years later, come and contacted through my other niece of my brother's. That was another affair I had. And anyway, so she calls me and said, guess what? I have a half brother. And anyway, so we're very soon we're going to embrace. And I would think my brother's been gone and we were very tight, our family. Imagine if you lost one of your brothers.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, for the first time, I'm going to meet his son. And he's 46 years of age, has 2 children, the same ages as Cece's sons, Elijah and Jonah. And I'm going to be able to meet him for the first time. And
That's
he's my
awesome.
brother's flesh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, this is like,
You're going to look at him and hopefully
my
you'll see
word.
your brother.
Right.
yeah.
That would be great.
Well, there is a semblance. The only thing is, nobody's this tall in our family, though. He's almost 6'7".
Wow.
Wow,
Which
that's
is
very
kind of
tall.
cool, man.
Yeah.
He's 6'5". I mean, I ran into a guy the other day that was like 6'7", this black man. I said, we're walking down the hall. I was a complete stranger. I said, excuse me, how tall are you? 6'7". Whoa, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was bad with me hitting chandeliers at 6'3",
Yeah.
So imagine being 6'7".
Yeah.
How
very
tall are you?
5'11".
5'11", almost 6.
I just want to be 5'4".
I always wanted to be short.
You just want to be 5'4".
That would work.
Is that what you are?
I'm 5'2".
Oh,
you're
really?
You're 5.
I'm
I
so
like
short.
5'2".
See,
I'm 5'2".
I don't understand.
Barbara's
it.
like 5'2". I like petite.
It's very, yeah, but she's petite, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. I always liked short people. I always wanted to be. My dad's short. My older brother Doy is short, and all my heroes growing up were short. So I never
Short
got the like.
people got nobody. Short people got nobody. They got little tiny hands and little tiny feet.
Well, look at Tom Cruise. He's very short.
Yeah.
You'd never know.
A lot of those actors. Are.
No, a lot of them are. A lot of the famous people
Oh,
I met.
no, yeah.
Sylvester Stallone's the diminutive.
Is he really short?
You know the guy,
Yeah.
Fonz? He and
Yeah.
I met a couple of times. Henry Winkle is little.
Oh, is he?
Dustin
Oh,
Hoffman,
yeah.
Short.
Dustin, and what I can't figure out, there's 2 schools of thought that I have. Either they're small, so they fight harder, and that's why they get to the top, or it's because the director is going to make you a star. And, they kind of go subconsciously, well, it's okay if I make him a star because he'll still be short.
Right.
I don't think so.
I don't
I
know.
don't
I
think it's
think
either.
you'd be surprised how many people don't get ahead because of jealousies.
You know what I actually think it is? I think, and this is why I always want to be short growing up. And sorry, Rhett, for being the tall guy in the room, but short people have better coordination because they have less of a body to control.
Yeah.
So that's why short gymnasts beat
Your
tall
dad.
gymnasts. Yeah.
Your dad
Well,
was
they're
a gym
closer to the
teacher.
ground too. Think about that.
Yeah, when
That's true.
it comes to acting in movies, it doesn't really matter how tall you are. It matters how well you control your body. And the short people, look at Tom Cruise as an action star because he looks so good doing action. If he was 7 feet tall, he would look awkward, uncoordinated, and slow.
Mhm.
Now in the movie, you can pretend like he's
Well, like
250
John
pounds.
Wayne, he had that walk because he was tall.
Yeah. And look at Sylvester Stallone. Okay, he's in this Rocky movie where he's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
He actually probably weighs 140 pounds. But in the movie, it's okay to pretend that he's 250 pounds and he's just super tall and super bulky and everything like that. But he moves fast and he's coordinated, and so it makes a good movie.
Mhm.
But if they actually had someone that big, they'd be slow and awkward.
And Rhett, you always kid about women in high heels. A lot of women wear high heels so they'll appear much taller. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
I just like high heels because of what it does to that muscle in the back of the leg there. I mean, it's just like,
And
wow.
men have put a
I think
lift
high
in,
heels are sexy.
and
Yeah.
men
Oh,
will
they
put
are.
a lift in their shoe.
I
Welcome to
love
my
women.
world.
I
Trying to
love
keep-
women. Eh.
Trying to keep that
Oh.
censored.
I brought up the wrong subject.
Somebody-
Oh, yeah,
Well,
Well,
there's
wait a
the
second. This
subject for you.
Australian couple was on my show, and their book has sold 10 million copies, and it is Why Men Can Never Have Enough Sex and Why Women Can Never Have Enough Shoes.
Well,
And,
I
that-
have a
and
lot
women
of
understand
shoes.
it. See?
I want to give them away because they can't wear the high ones anymore
Why?
because they can't walk in them anymore.
Mhm.
I can't imagine why any woman would walk in heels except, I mean, to be attractive. Because I wore heels once with Tony Calici and my friend. We did a name game. Actually, it was a junior high. Shirley, Bo Burley, Pita, Mo Merley, Shirley. So we dressed up like 3 black ladies. Tony Calici, who's Greek, me, and there was another kid named Timmy. And we put on those earrings, the ones that claps on your ear,
Yeah.
and the wigs, and we put on high heels and stockings.
Thanks.
I thought,
No.
no,
Sticking
thanks.
through.
Putting on them stockings. Oh
you
my
do-
God, it's so cloying. Who would want that on my body? I like taking them off of me, and I like taking them off of girls too. No, but anyway,
Did you wear blackface when you did it?
no,
Okay,
no,
good.
I don't think so.
I think that's
I don't
too far.
remember, but I
You
don't
would
think
get
so.
away with
But
that.
not today, I guess not. I don't see anything wrong with blackface. I mean, stop all the political correctness. Screw it. Just
You know,
everybody just do what you're gonna do.
Ted
If you're
Danson-
black and you want to eat watermelon and fried chicken, go ahead and do it. I don't care if it fits some norm. You know what? And I'm Irish, and I like what do I like?
Corned beef and
Well,
cabbage.
corned
for
beef
sure.
and cabbage there,
That's
but I also like
right.
watermelon fried chicken.
Ted Danson dressed up in blackface while he was dating
You know what?
Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh,
And he
really?
was dating Whoopi Goldberg, and she thought it was funny, and so he thought he could get away with it, and he got such a huge backlash. People were so
Oh,
upset.
Really?
And
Ah, shut up.
yeah.
Everybody just shut the heck up. So, what's going on at Joey Seafood today?
Nothing. You're going to come for lunch, and I'm
Yeah.
going to cook. No, Kick is going to cook,
Oh, you're not coming
and
in?
I'm coming in.
Oh,
I'm going to
good.
be your
Hostess with
hostess
the
with the mostest.
Yes.
And you know what? Let me tell you how important that is. My friend
Mhm.
Fred Migliore, who's now deceased, but he used to own the Black Pearls in town. He owned a famous
Oh, yeah.
Italian restaurant up in Vincent's or whatever it's called up in New Jersey. And he said they couldn't figure out why Thursday nights there was this big lull. Nobody would come on Thursday. Duh, because that was his night off. People,
Oh.
when you come in and somebody says, "I come in to see Kimmy." Hey, Rhett, she comes over, gives me a hug.
Mhm.
I don't need to feel I'm better than anybody else in there, but I feel
Welcome.
appreciated and welcomed and
Mhm.
important.
Yeah.
I
You
feel
know?
like that's what our business is about, though. I
Yeah.
mean, the food is good, and we live to do that for everybody because it's our passion and it's our love.
What do I do with the show?
But-
Hopefully, I make local people feel important. Come
People
in
want
here
us
and
to
be
open up
participate.
other nights. We can't open up other nights.
That's too much.
Just too hard.
All right, Mr. B is being a problem again.
He keeps wanting the show to end.
Kimmy, come on over to Joey Seafood Shack today. It's on US 1, kitty corner to Boston Chicken. Thank you very much, Beverly, for coming in. Thank you,
Thank you.
Richard Demsick. And we have another recorded show coming up in a few minutes right after the news for you. A very special show. Stay tuned.
Okay. Good to see you, Kimmy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
hmm
Yep.
You look great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right. Let's go to work. We should do a little thing on women in business
Yeah.
and how Trump is going to change everything for small businesses.
I think he will.
I hope so.
I hope so. I hope he doesn't forget the small business.
No, like you wouldn't believe when you started to talk about it. I didn't want to say anything because I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings in town, but what you said is so true because we've got all these people, all these people that feel like they're due from the system and they want to work for us. But then I say, but I'll give you a real job and I'll pay you a really decent salary. Can you work more than 3 days? No, because they can't get their Obamacare, they can't get their food stamps, they can't get their government money. So
Oh,
I'm supposed to bend over backwards, and then I say, but you know, I really need you because we're in the middle of season, and they don't want to put the hours in, or they want you to do something illegal so that they can get paid under the table. And I'm like, are you going to come visit me every day if I go to jail? You know, it's just unbelievable the way people just feel entitlement.
My grandfather lived in New York City. And he said, you can't get a good maid anymore because they're all on welfare.
I know, and that's what the problem is. That's why a lot of people don't want Trump in because they're going to lose all their stuff, and they're having children.
advantages.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you want any water? It hasn't been
Hold on a
used.
second, please. Hold on.
Oh,
I'm trying to do a business call, so could you just go do that in the kitchen, please? Okay, thanks. I'll be right out, Kimmy. Are you gonna go?
You don't need me, right?
All right, I'll see you over there then.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I just got off the air, so.
As the body's largest organ, skin is the great protector. Skin cancer is the most common of all cancers. Protect the health of your skin with regular exams by a board-certified dermatologist. Specializing in the treatment of skin cancer, Treasure Coast Dermatology has offices in Martin, St. Lucie, and Indian River counties, with the newest location in Vero Beach. Call toll-free 877-870-DERM. That's 877-870.
Hold on just a second, right? Okay. Can you kill the headsets in here so I can talk on the phone? I can't hear this lady. Thank you, Mr. B. Okay, now I can hear you. Go ahead. This is what you have to repeat that again. I couldn't make out what you were saying.
His name is Dr. Douglas Haddad, and he's an award-winning teacher. And he has a new book coming out this week called The Ultimate Guide to Raising Teens and Tweens. And basically, it's everything you need to know to motivate your kids to deal with difficult conversations and difficult topics like bullying and sex and drugs. And basically, it's a complete guide to raising successful young adults.
Okay. Let's see. What time does the average mom take their child to school today here in Florida? What do you think it is? What time does school start most of the time?
I'd say probably like in the 8 o'clock hour, right?
Yeah, I was 7 to 8 or 8 to 9.
I would say probably. I would guess I don't know, probably around between 8:30.
Okay, then let's book this person between 8 and 8:30. But when do you want to book him for? When's he available?
He's available Thursday. The day the book comes out.
No, I'm out of town this Thursday, but let's